Beneath the noise of the world, there is a frequency, a humming silence. It is not an emptiness, but a plenum, a space of pure potential where all things are born. You have felt it in moments of profound stillness, in the breath between thoughts, in the quiet awe of looking at a star-filled sky. It is the subtle, resonant truth of existence, humming just beneath the static of your daily life. And yet, you feel a disconnect, a quiet dissatisfaction that hums a different, dissonant tune. You have followed the rules, you have chased the goals, you have climbed the ladders that society constructed. You have gathered experiences, possessions, relationships, believing they were the pathway to a feeling of fullness. But the striving has left you tired. The accumulation of things that promised peace has only brought more complexity, more to manage, more to lose. The world taught you to search for wealth outside of yourself, to measure your worth in numbers, in titles, in the approval of others. But that is a phantom chase, a race with no finish line, because the scarcity you feel is not in your bank account or in your home. It is in your frequency. The truest abundance is not something you acquire. It is a resonance you tune into. It is a state of being, an inner richness that radiates outward and shapes the very fabric of your reality. This journey we are about to embark upon is not about learning a new trick or adding another layer of information to your already burdened mind. You are already complete. You are already whole. This is a journey of subtraction, of unbecoming. It is a gentle stripping away of all the false programming, all the inherited fears, all the static of a world that has forgotten its own music. We are not going to build anything new. We are going to uncover what has always been there. We are going to tune the instrument, not to play someone else's song, but to finally, powerfully broadcast your own. This is a journey of remembering, a return to the source, to the frequency of life itself, a frequency of effortless creation and profound peace. Your only task is to be still and to listen. We begin with the most courageous act of all, not an act of doing, but an act of seeing, the willingness to stand still, to lower your arms from their defensive posture, and to simply look at the world around you and see yourself. For too long, you have believed that life is something that happens to you, a series of random events, fortunate or unfortunate, a cast of characters who enter and exit, bringing either joy or pain. You have seen yourself as a ship on a vast, unpredictable ocean, at the mercy of its currents and its storms. But this is the foundational illusion that keeps you locked in a frequency of powerlessness. The truth is far more profound, far more demanding, and infinitely more liberating. Your world is a mirror. Everything you perceive, from the most mundane annoyance to the most heartbreaking tragedy, is a reflection. A perfect, flawless, unerring reflection of your own inner state. That recurring argument with a loved one, the one that follows the same script every time, is not just a conversation. It is a frequency you are broadcasting, a vibration of unresolved conflict within you, and the other person is simply playing the part the mirror requires. The financial anxiety that tightens your chest is not just a rational response to numbers on a page. It is a vibration of lack, a deeply grooved belief in scarcity, emanating from the core of your being and painting your reality with its grim colors. The job that drains your soul, the boss who fails to see your worth, the feeling of being stuck while others move forward, these are not the causes of your suffering. They are the symptoms. They are the faithful, holographic projections of your inner convictions about who you are and what you are allowed to experience. To resist them, to fight them, to blame them, is to spend your life fighting your own reflection in the mirror. It is an exhausting and futile war. Imagine you are sitting in a dark, quiet room. In front of you is a large, white, empty screen. This screen is your life. It is your objective reality, the stage upon which everything unfolds. And on this screen, a film is playing. It shows your home, your relationships, your body, your career. It is the story of you. but you do not like the film. The plot is one of struggle. The lighting is dim, tinged with worry. The main character, you, seems small and weary. So, driven by a deep desire for something better, you get up from your seat. You walk to the screen and you begin to work. You try to paint a smile on the face of your character. You try to scrub away the antagonist who brings you pain. You attempt to paste pictures of wealth and happiness over the scenes of lack and sorrow. You push, you strive, you exhaust yourself in the effort to change the images on the screen. But no matter how hard you fight, the film continues to play, unchanged, projecting its story right through your desperate, frantic alterations. You are left tired, frustrated, and more convinced than ever that the film itself is flawed, that life is inherently a struggle. This is how most of humanity lives, fighting the screen, trying to manipulate the reflection, attempting to control other people, to force situations, to rearrange the holographic world in a way that will finally bring peace. And then, one day, in a moment of utter surrender, you stop. You cease the struggle. You let your arms fall to your sides and you turn around, and for the very first time you notice it. Humming quietly in the back of the room is the source of it all. The projector. It is old, perhaps dusty, but it is immensely powerful. And in that moment, the ultimate truth dawns upon you with the force of a tidal wave. The film is not on the screen. The film has never been on the screen. The film is inside the projector. Your consciousness is the projector. Your deepest beliefs, your core assumptions, your secret permissions and prohibitions, your unhealed traumas, your most cherished definitions of yourself and the world. This is the film. Reel upon reel of it, spinning silently in the dark, projecting your inner world outward to become your outer world. This realization is not about blame. It is the furthest thing from blame. It is about radical liberation. It is the moment you cease to be the victim of the film and realize you are the projectionist. You have the power to stop the movie, to open the casing, and to change the reel. Look at your life through this new lens. That person who consistently betrays your trust is merely playing their part in a film you have written, a film perhaps titled, "I Cannot Rely on Others," or "I Will Always Be Abandoned." They are a perfect actor for the role. To blame them is to praise their acting while ignoring your own directorship. The chronic lack of opportunity you perceive is a projection from a film reel called, "I Am Not Good Enough," or "The world is a competitive and unfair place." The world has no choice but to conform to the instructions on your film. It cannot project a scene of abundance from a reel of scarcity, any more than a film of a desert can project an image of an ocean. So the work, the only real work there is not out there. It is not in networking more, or working harder, or fighting smarter. The work is to turn away from the screen, to walk back to the projector, and to sit with it. The work is to become relentlessly, compassionately curious about the film you have been playing on a loop for your entire life. To do this is to take back your power. It is to reclaim your role as the creator of your experience. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" And you begin to ask, the only question that matters, "What in me is projecting this?" You begin to gently, without judgment, examine the film. You look at the scenes of loneliness, and you ask, "What belief in me insists on separation?" You watch the parts that show failure, and you ask, "What fear is this movie trying to protect me from?" You observe the moments of anxiety, and you ask, "What story about the future am I telling myself right now?" This is the sacred act of self-inquiry. It is the beginning of true transformation. You are no longer a passive viewer. You are the conscious editor. You are deciding that the old story, the old film, has had its run. It has served its purpose. It has shown you exactly what you believe to be true. And now, you are ready to watch a new movie. But as you sit with this old, familiar projector, you become aware of something else. It is not just the images, but the noise of the machine itself. The incessant chatter of the narrator, the whirring of the gears of judgment, the clicking of the storyteller who never, ever rests. This inner dialogue is what causes the light to flicker. It is the static that distorts the clarity of the projection. Before we can choose a new film, a film of abundance, of peace, of unconditional love, we must first learn to quiet the machine. We must learn to find the silence that exists behind the projector's hum. We must discover the stillness that allows the pure light of consciousness to shine through, unfiltered and ready to project any reality we choose. And that is our next step, to move beyond the reflection, beyond the projector, and into the profound silence from which all creation begins. You have turned away from the screen of your life. You have identified the projector of your consciousness as the source of your reality. And now you sit with it, ready to change the film, ready to create a new story. But as you draw your attention inward, what do you find? A quiet, serene space, ready for your instruction, number? You find a storm, a relentless, roaring, chaotic hurricane of thoughts. The voice of the past, replaying regrets and old wounds like a scratched record, its sorrowful tune filling your inner space. The voice of the future, a frantic and anxious planner, spinning 1,000 different scenarios of what could go wrong, demanding that you prepare, that you worry, that you strategize. And loudest of all, the voice of the inner critic, the tireless judge and commentator, narrating your every move, your every breath, with a stream of endless evaluation. It tells you what you should have done, what you must do, how you are failing, how you are not enough. This inner cacophony, this blizzard of mental noise, is the static that jams your frequency. It is the turbulence that makes any clear projection impossible. And the most deeply ingrained illusion of your existence is the belief that this noise is you. For your entire life, you have mistaken the storm for the sky. When a dark cloud of sadness appears on your inner horizon, you have said, "I am sad." When a flash of angry thought illuminates your mind, you have said, "I am angry." When a fog of confusion descends, you have said, "I am lost." You have identified with every passing cloud, every shift in the mental weather, believing yourself to be this fragile, ever-changing and turbulent thing. You have spent your energy fighting the clouds, trying to force the storm clouds away, desperately seeking the sunny, happy clouds. But fighting the weather only creates more wind. It is a battle that can never be won, because it is based on a false identity. So I invite you now, in this moment, to do something truly radical. Do not fight the thoughts, do not resist the noise, do not try to push the clouds away or force the storm to cease. To do so is to give them your power, to affirm their reality as a problem. Instead, for the first time, simply let them be, and watch. Become a silent witness to the storm within your own mind. Notice a thought as it drifts into your awareness. See its shape, its texture, its charge. Is it a memory, a fragment of a song, a worry about tomorrow, a judgment about yourself? Do not grab onto it. Do not analyze it. Do not condemn it as negative or celebrate it as positive. Simply notice it. See it for what it is, a transient wisp of energy. And then, with a kind of detached curiosity, watch as it floats on by, dissolving back into the space from which it came. Another will surely follow. Watch that one too. As you do this, as you practice this art of non-reactive observation, a profound question will begin to emerge from the stillness. Who is it that is watching? A thought cannot be aware of another thought. A cloud cannot watch another cloud drift by. The storm cannot witness itself. There must be something else here, a silent, still background of pure awareness that is witnessing the entire parade. A vast, open and unchanging space in which the entire storm of thought is happening. That witness is you. That vast, silent, open space is you. You are not the clouds, you are the sky. Let this sink into the very marrow of your being. You are the sky. The thoughts, the emotions, the stories, the fears, the hopes, They are merely clouds passing through the vastness of who you are. The sky does not cling to the beautiful, fluffy white clouds of a summer's day. It lets them go. The sky does not fear or resist the dark, ominous thunderhead. It allows it to be, to release its rain and its lightning, knowing that it too will pass. The sky is vast enough to hold every kind of weather, every possible cloud formation, without being changed by any of it. The storm may rage, but the sky itself remains untouched, unstained, eternally peaceful in its own nature. This is your true nature. Your essential self, this silent awareness, is never harmed by a painful memory. It is never diminished by a fearful thought. It is never improved by a happy thought. It simply is. The silent, loving, unconditional space that allows all of your human experience to unfold. To know yourself as the sky is to find a peace that is not dependent on circumstances. It is not the fragile peace of having a good day or thinking positive thoughts. It is a rugged, unshakable peace that comes from a radical shift in identity. You are no longer the fragile cloud at the mercy of the winds of life. You are the sky that holds all winds, all clouds, in its infinite, compassionate embrace. Your mind, the mechanism of thought, will not relinquish its central role easily. It has been the master of your house for decades. It will fight for your attention. When you try to be the sky, it will create the most dramatic, loud, and terrifying thunderstorm imaginable to convince you that you are the storm. It will scream, "This is important. You must think about this. You must solve this now." It will tell you that this practice of watching is foolish, irresponsible, a waste of time. It will do everything in its power to pull you out of the sky and back into the cloud. Do not be alarmed. Do not fight it. See this resistance for what it is. Another cloud, a cloud of fear, a cloud of habit. Simply watch it. Let the mind do its frantic dance. Let the thoughts scream for your attention, and you remain the sky, patient, unmoving, aware. You provide the space for the storm to exhaust itself, and it will. All storms eventually pass. And in the moments between the thoughts, in the lulls, in the mental storm, you will begin to feel something. The silence that is left behind is not an empty, dead void. It is alive. It is pulsing with a subtle, quiet energy. When the roar of the clouds subsides, you begin to perceive what the sky is truly made of. A quiet hum, a living stillness, a tangible presence. This is the feeling tone of your true being. This is your base frequency, the signature vibration of your soul, which has been patiently waiting for you beneath the noisy storm of your personality. Having found the silence, having realized that you are the sky, our next step is to consciously attune to this vibration, to feel its texture, to learn its signature, to allow its music to become the new film in the projector. For in this silent, living frequency lies the raw, creative energy of the entire universe, waiting for your conscious direction. You have found the sky. You have tasted the silence between the thoughts, the vast open space of your own awareness. And in that silence, you have felt it, a subtle aliveness, a quiet hum, a living vibration. We must not let this feeling pass. We must lean into it, for this vibration is the secret language of the universe, and it is the native tongue of your soul. It is the key to shifting from a life of reaction to a life of conscious creation. Ask yourself a simple question. Who are you? The mind, the old master, rushes to answer. It offers you a name, an age, a gender, a profession. It pulls up a catalog of your history, a highlight reel of your accomplishments, and a somber montage of your failures. It reminds you of your relationships, your roles as a parent, a child, a friend, a worker. It presents you with this complex collage, this intricate story, and with great authority it says, "This is you," and for your entire life you have believed it. You have identified with this persona, this collection of labels and memories. You have defended it, polished it, and felt trapped by it. But it is a case of mistaken identity. All of these things are attachments. They are costumes worn by the soul. Your name was given to you. Your age is merely a measure of your body's trips around the sun. Your job is a role you are playing, a function you are performing. Your memories are faded, edited stories from a film that is no longer running. These things are not the essence of who you are. They are things you have, or things you do. They are not what you are. Beneath the costume, beneath the story, beneath the very last label, is the living energy you felt in the silence. That is the real you. You are not a noun. You are a verb. You are not a static object defined by its past. You are a field of living energy, vibrating at a specific and unique rate in every single moment. You are a frequency. Let this idea dismantle your old world. You are a frequency. Like a snowflake, like a fingerprint, your essential vibration is a signature that is yours alone in all of creation. It is the tone of your soul, the unique note that only you can contribute to the symphony of the cosmos. To live as a person is to live in a cage built of past definitions. To live as a frequency is to become a limitless field of potential. Imagine a beautiful, masterfully crafted guitar. This is your body-mind system. It has a specific shape, a unique wood grain, a certain set of strings. This is your personality, your genetic inheritance, your physical form, the character you play in this lifetime. For your whole life, you have believed you are this guitar. You have spent your time polishing its wood, worrying about its scratches, comparing it to other guitars, feeling proud of its brand or ashamed of its age. You have become an expert on the instrument, its care, its maintenance, and its perceived flaws. But you have forgotten its entire purpose. A guitar is not made to be looked at in a display case. It is made to create music. The music is the unseen part. The music is the vibration that leaves the instrument and fills the room, that changes the atmosphere, that can bring people to tears or to their feet in dance. The music is the entire point of the guitar. You are not the guitar. You are the music. You are the invisible resonant frequency that emanates from the instrument of your body and mind. The persona is the instrument. The frequency is the life. This changes everything. It reframes every interaction, every relationship, every event in your life. When you meet someone and feel an instant, effortless connection, a sense of having known them forever, it is not because your guitars look alike. It is because your music is in harmony. Your frequencies are resonating, creating a chord that is pleasing and powerful. Conversely, when you feel a sense of unease, friction, or inexplicable dislike for someone, it has nothing to do with their appearance or their story. Your frequencies are clashing, your music is out of key with theirs, creating a dissonant, uncomfortable sound in the field between you. There is no judgment here. Some notes are not meant to be played together. The world around you, the reality you experience, is a vast and perfectly designed acoustic chamber. It is neutral. It has no preference. It simply and flawlessly reflects and amplifies the music that is being played within it. The chamber does not respond to how beautiful the guitar is or how old it is. It responds only to the vibration it emits. If you are consistently playing a song of lack, a low, mournful tune of "I am not worthy," or "Life is a struggle," the acoustic chamber of the universe will faithfully amplify that frequency. It will orchestrate events, people, and circumstances that match your sorrowful song, bringing you more evidence that your music is true. If, however, you learn to play a new song, a song of gratitude, of joy, a high, clear, and resonant note of "I am whole, I am abundant, I am loved," the universe has no choice but to amplify that melody. It will rearrange itself to bring you experiences that harmonize with your new music. This is the shift from a paradigm of frantic doing to one of conscious being. You stop trying to frantically polish the guitar, hoping a shinier instrument will change the world's reaction to it. You stop trying to force its strings to play a song of joy when your inner state is one of misery. That only creates a tinny, inauthentic sound that fools no one, least of all the universe. Instead, your sole focus, your sacred work, becomes the quality of the music you are emitting in this very moment. The central question of your life shifts from, "What should I do to get what I want?" to a far more powerful and elegant question. What frequency am I being right now? How do you know what music you are playing? You do not need a special device or an external guru to tell you. You were born with a perfectly calibrated, infallibly accurate built-in guidance system that gives you a constant, real-time reading of your vibrational output. This system does not speak to you in the clumsy, limited language of words. It speaks to you in the pure, direct language of your very essence, the language of vibration itself. This guidance system is your emotional body. Your feelings are the moment-to-moment readout of your frequency. They are the needle on the dial. They are the ultimate, undeniable feedback from the universe, telling you exactly and honestly what song you are sending out into the great acoustic chamber of reality. Understanding this emotional feedback is the next crucial step in becoming the conscious composer of your life. You are a frequency. You are music playing out into the cosmos, and your emotional body is the infallible, moment-to-moment readout of the song you are playing. This is a truth so simple and so profound that it is capable of dismantling a lifetime of confusion, guilt, and warfare against your own inner world. From our earliest days, we were taught to be judges of our own hearts. We were given two boxes, good and bad, and we learned to sort our feelings accordingly. Joy, happiness, excitement, and love were placed in the good box. They were seen as rewards for correct behavior, signs of success and virtue. They were to be sought after, clung to, and proudly displayed. Anger, sadness, jealousy, grief, and fear were thrown into the bad box. They were seen as punishments, signs of weakness, deficiency, or moral failure. They were to be avoided at all costs, suppressed, medicated, hidden away, or overcome with brutish force as quickly as possible. This fundamental misunderstanding, this severing of your own wholeness, is the primary source of human suffering. It has created a vicious and unwinnable war within you. You have become afraid of your own internal landscape, living in constant dread of the negative feelings that might arise from the depths. You have spent immense amounts of life force resisting your own experience, pushing down your truth, and pretending to feel one way when you truly feel another. This war is exhausting, and it is entirely unnecessary. It is based on a complete misinterpretation of the purpose of emotion. Emotions are not good or bad. They are not rewards or punishments. They are simply information, that is all. They are messengers, carrying vital data from your soul to your conscious mind. They are the needle on a compass, pointing not to a moralistic north or south, but to a vibrational reality, alignment or misalignment. That is their only function. Alignment with what? Alignment with your truest, highest self. Alignment with the frequency of your core desires. Alignment with the boundless creative source energy from which you are made. Imagine you are standing in a vast, open field at dusk. Buried somewhere in this field is a treasure chest of unimaginable value. This treasure represents the complete fulfillment of your being. It is radiant health, profound love, effortless abundance, joyful creative expression, and deep spiritual peace. It is the physical, manifest reality of your highest potential. It already exists, waiting for you in the field. In your hands, you hold a remarkable device, a kind of vibrational detector. This device doesn't search for metal. It attunes to resonance. It is designed to sense its proximity to the unique frequency of the treasure. This perfect, infallible device is your emotional body. Now, you take a step. As you do, the device in your hands begins to hum with a quiet, pleasant, and warm tone. A feeling of ease and relief spreads through you. This feeling is hope. It is appreciation. It is contentment. This is the signal. It is your guidance system telling you, yes, that direction. You are getting warmer. Encouraged, you take another step in the same direction. The pleasant hum grows stronger, clearer, turning into a beautiful, joyful, ringing sound that vibrates through your entire being. This feeling is excitement. It is passion. It is love. It is joy. These so-called positive emotions are not the treasure itself. They are the sound of your proximity to it. They are the infallible indicators from your soul cheering you on, saying, yes, keep going, this way. You are moving directly toward everything you want. The better you feel, the closer you are. Now, imagine you stop, turn 90 degrees, and take a step in a new direction, away from the treasure. Instantly, the beautiful ringing sound vanishes. It is replaced by a flat, discordant buzz, a feeling of coldness, of slight unease, of deflation. This feeling is boredom. It is pessimism. It is doubt. This is not a punishment. It is simply the guidance system informing you. That step took you away from the signal. The treasure is not over here. If you ignore this subtle feedback and stubbornly take another step in this same wrong direction, the buzzing becomes louder, more jarring. It becomes a grating, unpleasant alarm. This is the feeling of frustration, of worry, of blame. If you persist even further, the alarm becomes a shrieking, painful siren that consumes all of your attention. This is the feeling of anger, of fear, of despair, of powerlessness. These negative emotions are your greatest allies. They are not a sign that you are broken or that life is against you. They are the loving, urgent alarm bells of your inner being, screaming with all their might. Stop, please, turn around. You are thinking a thought, believing a story, and moving in a direction that is taking you far, far away from your own good. The treasure you seek is not, and will never be, found over here. Your job is not to analyze the alarm. Your job is not to get angry at the alarm for making such an unpleasant noise. Your job is not to try and smash the device so you can no longer hear it. This is what we do when we distract ourselves with food, drink, drugs, or mindless entertainment. We are trying to silence the alarm instead of heeding its message. Silencing the alarm does not move you 1 inch closer to the treasure. It simply ensures that you will continue to wander, lost and disoriented, in the wrong direction, while pretending everything is fine. The truly enlightened response to a feeling of anger is not to suppress it, but to pause and say, "Thank you. Thank you for this powerful, unignorable alarm. You are showing me, with perfect clarity, that my current focus is in violent opposition to my true desire. What thought am I thinking? What story am I believing that is causing this siren to go off?" A feeling of sadness is a gift, a messenger telling you that you are focused on absence, on what is lost, rather than on the presence of what you desire. A feeling of fear is a gift, a loud alarm showing you that you are projecting a future that is out of alignment with the future your soul holds for you. You use the feeling as your compass. You let it guide you back to thoughts that feel better. A thought that feels better is, by definition, a thought that is vibrationally closer to your truth and your desire. The relief you feel is the hum of the detector returning. That is all you need to do. Reach for the best feeling thought you can find in this moment, and then the next. However, a problem arises from years of misuse. Many of us have been ignoring the subtle alarms and wandering in the wrong direction for so long that we have become accustomed to the noise. The low-frequency states of worry, resentment, and cynicism have become our baseline reality. They feel normal. Our vibrational home has been unconsciously built in a desolate corner of the field, far, far away from the treasure. We are stuck in the mud of these dense, heavy frequencies, and they keep our music playing that same sorrowful, dissonant tune. So before we can become masters at following our compass toward joy, we must first learn how to pull our feet out of the mud. We must learn how to disengage from the powerful gravitational pull of these old, habitual, emotional patterns. We must learn the sacred and liberating art of letting go. You are now aware of the compass. You understand that your emotions are the guidance system pointing toward or away from your desires. But for many, this awareness brings a new kind of frustration. The alarm of anxiety, of resentment, of scarcity has been ringing for so long that its noise has become the background music to your life. You feel mired in the habit of a low frequency, stuck in the mud of old emotional patterns. And the primary reason you are stuck, the anchor that holds you in this mud, is one single, all-consuming activity: resistance. Resistance is the most draining and futile expenditure of life force. What is it? It is the constant, subtle, and sometimes raging argument with reality. It is the voice in your head that tirelessly insists this should not be happening. It is the mental and emotional opposition to what is. Resistance is relitigating old wounds in the courtroom of your mind, hoping for a different verdict that will never come. It is the endless loop of, if only I had, and if only they hadn't. It is the tensing of your body and the clenching of your jaw against 1,000 imagined future catastrophes. Fundamentally, resistance is the act of saying no to the life that is presenting itself to you in this moment. And this silent, internal no is the single greatest consumer of your vital, creative energy. It keeps your frequency locked in a state of struggle and contraction. Imagine your life as a great, powerful, and intelligent river. The river flows from source, from creation itself, and its ultimate, unchangeable destination is the vast ocean of your highest good, the full realization of your being, the manifestation of all you desire. The river knows the way. It knows the fastest, most effortless path, for it is the path of least resistance. Your only task was to get into your boat, lie back, trust the wisdom of the water, and allow the current to carry you. But somewhere near the beginning of your journey, you were taught to fear the river. You were told its current was dangerous, unpredictable, and that you must take control. You were taught that your will was superior to the river's wisdom. So you picked up a pair of heavy, cumbersome oars, and you began to row. But you did not row with the current. You turned your small boat around to face upstream, and you began to row against the immense, inexorable, and loving power of the river of life. This is the portrait of a life of struggle. Every single day, you wake up, you grit your teeth, and you plunge your oars into the water, pulling with every ounce of your strength against the cosmic flow. Your spiritual muscles ache, your heart is strained, your mind is consumed with the sheer effort of it, focused only on the next stroke, the next battle against the current that is only trying to take you home. You are so utterly focused on the rowing, on the resistance, that you never see the breathtaking landscape passing you by on the riverbanks. The sun warms your face, but you do not feel it. The scent of jasmine and pine drifts on the breeze, but you do not smell it. Your entire being is contracted, consumed by the fight. Every time you complain about a circumstance, you are rowing. Every time you blame another person for your feelings, you are rowing. Every time you obsess over a past mistake, you are turning your boat around and rowing desperately into yesterday. Every time you fuel yourself with anxiety about tomorrow, you are rowing against a future that has not yet even taken form. This isn't fair. Why me? It shouldn't be this way, is a furious stroke of the oar against the full, loving force of life itself. And you wonder why you are so tired. You wonder why you feel stuck in the same place on the river, year after year, despite your monumental effort. It is because your effort is pointed in the wrong direction. Now, from this place of awareness, I invite you to consider a radical, terrifying, and liberating proposition. What if you just let go of the oars? What if, in this very moment, you simply stopped fighting? The ego mind, the part of you that believes it is the rower, screams in terror at this suggestion. If I let go, I will lose control. I will be swept away. The current will dash me against the rocks. My struggle is what is keeping me safe. My effort is what gives me value. If I am not the rower, then who am I? This is the great lie your conditioned mind tells you to perpetuate its own importance. The struggle is not keeping you safe, it is keeping you imprisoned. The resistance is not giving you value, it is draining your life force. The current is not your enemy, it is the grace of the universe trying to guide you. Letting go of the oars is not a grand, dramatic action. It is a quiet, internal surrender. It is an act of profound courage and wisdom. It is found in the space of a single, conscious breath. You breathe in, and you acknowledge the reality of the situation without judgment. The difficult diagnosis is. The financial shortfall is. The feeling of loneliness is. You breathe out, and you consciously withdraw your energy from the story that says it shouldn't be. You unclench the fists of your mind. You allow the tension in your shoulders and your belly to soften. In that moment of non-resistance, of saying a quiet, internal yes to the reality of the moment, you have let go of the oars. Instantly, the boat stops its violent struggle. It gently, slowly, turns itself around to face downstream. And for the first time, perhaps in your entire life, you feel it. The gentle, powerful, and loving pull of the current. You are no longer moving by the force of your own frantic effort. You are being moved by grace. It is crucial to understand that this surrender is not resignation or passivity. Resignation is saying, "The river is cruel, and I give up, I am doomed." That is a state of victimhood, which is just another form of resistance, another low frequency. True surrender is an active and courageous trust in the flow of life. It is the profound wisdom to discern between what you can change and what you cannot. The only thing you can ever truly control is your own state of being, your own frequency. You cannot control the river, but you can choose to stop fighting it. When you release the oars of resistance, you instantly stop broadcasting the dense, heavy vibration of struggle. The frantic, chaotic energy of the fight dissipates from your energy field, and in its place, a space is created. A quiet, peaceful, neutral space. You are now floating. You are turned downstream. The war is over. You are in a state of allowance, of neutrality, of peace. This is the baseline frequency of creation. This space is precious. It is the fertile, silent ground from which new realities are born. For a time, it is enough to simply float, to rest, to recover from the long and pointless battle. But the universe awaits your direction. Nature awaits your conscious intent. Having emptied yourself of the exhausting vibration of resistance, you must now consciously choose what to fill that sacred space with. If you leave it empty, the old habits of thought, the familiar patterns of rowing, will creep back in and grab the oars again. So we must now learn to deliberately plant a seed in this newly fertile ground. We must learn to form a clear, powerful, and resonant intention. We must learn the art of conscious desire. You have released the oars, the frantic struggle against the current has ceased, and you are floating. Here, in the quiet, gentle drift of the river of life, you have found a peace that was impossible in the midst of your battle. You are in a state of allowance, a space of profound neutrality. This fertile silence is now your canvas, your sacred ground. But a canvas is not meant to remain blank, and ground is not meant to remain fallow. It awaits a seed. This brings us to the most powerful and most misunderstood force in the known universe, desire. For most of your life, desire has been a painful experience. It has been a synonym for lack. It has been a hungry ghost living inside of you, constantly pointing to things outside of yourself and whispering, "I will be happy when I get that. I will be whole when I have that. I will be at peace when I achieve that." This is the desire of the ego, and it is born from the illusion of your own incompletion. It is a frantic, grasping energy. It looks at the world, compares, and covets. It sees the happiness or success of another and feels a pang of its own deficiency. This desire forces you into the role of the hunter, chasing after qualifications, relationships, possessions, and experiences, believing that they hold the key to your contentment. You have hunted, and you have captured some of these things, only to find a fleeting moment of satisfaction before the hungry ghost points to a new target on the horizon. The chase is endless because its premise is a lie. Nothing outside of you can ever complete you, because you are not, and have never been, incomplete. In reaction to the pain of this endless chase, some spiritual paths have taught that desire itself is the enemy. They proclaim that desire is the root of all suffering, and that to be enlightened is to be without desire. This, too, is a profound misunderstanding. To attempt to kill desire is to attempt to kill life itself. The entire universe is an engine of glorious, unstoppable desire. A seed desires to become a tree. A star desires to radiate light. The river desires the ocean. It is the creative impulse of source energy seeking to expand and experience more of its own potential. The problem has never been desire. The problem has been the frequency from which you desire. The pain comes from desiring from a state of lack. The power comes from desiring from a state of wholeness. This is the birth of conscious desire. Conscious desire is not a hungry grasping. It is a joyful unfolding. It does not spring from the thought, "I am not enough." It blossoms from the quiet knowing that I am, and I am curious to experience more. It is a calling from your soul, a whisper from your higher self, gently pulling you toward an experience that will facilitate your next stage of growth and expression. A conscious desire feels different in your body. An egoic desire feels contracted, needy, anxious, and urgent. A conscious desire feels expansive, exciting, light, and joyful, even in its unmanifested state. The thought of it brings a smile to your face, not a knot to your stomach. It feels less like, "I need that to fix me," and more like, "I am drawn to that," for the sheer joy of the experience. The universe does not give you what you want. The universe gives you who you are. Your desire, therefore, is not a destination to be pursued. It is a vibrational tuning fork. It is a sacred invitation from life to become the person who is a natural, resonant match to that experience. The desire for true partnership is an invitation to become a vessel of self-love and wholeness first. The desire for abundance is an invitation to cultivate a deep inner state of worthiness and gratitude first. The desire for vibrant health is an invitation to align with feelings of energy and vitality first. The desire is the curriculum. Becoming the frequency is the work. This transforms you from the frantic hunter into the wise and patient gardener. The hunter's energy is one of pursuit, struggle, conquest, and force. The gardener does not chase the rose. The gardener does not command the seed to grow. The gardener understands that growth is a natural, mystical process that cannot be forced. The gardener's work is not to create the rose, but to partner with life itself, to create the perfect, nurturing conditions for the rose to bloom of its own accord. This is the art we must now master. First, the gardener must choose the seed. This is the act of clarifying your conscious desire. A vague desire is a weak seed that will not sprout. "I want to be happy," or "I want more money," are too diffuse. You must go deeper. You must find the essential feeling at the core of the desire. You do not truly want the $1 million. You want the feeling of freedom, of security, of ease, of generosity, of peace that you believe the money will bring you. That feeling, that is the real seed. Take time to distill your desire down to its pure emotional essence. What is the feeling tone of your fulfilled desire? Hold that feeling. That is your potent seed. Second, the gardener must prepare the soil. The soil is your inner state. It is the fertile silence you cultivated when you released the ores of resistance. The soil must be receptive. It must be free of the hard rocks of cynical doubt and the tangled weeds of old, limiting beliefs. You cannot plant a seed of abundance in soil that is choked with the weeds of "I am not worthy" or "life is hard." Preparing the soil is the gentle work of maintaining your state of allowance. It is the practice of returning to the peace of the present moment, of being the sky and not the clouds. A calm, non-resistant, trusting mind is the fertile black earth in which miracles can grow. Third, the gardener plants the seed. This is not a desperate prayer or a needy plea to the heavens. It is a quiet, sacred, and deliberate act of intention. In a state of meditation, of deep relaxation, you go within. You take your seed, pure feeling of your desire already fulfilled, and you hold it in your heart. You feel it fully, without reservation. And then, with a sense of peaceful knowing, you gently place this feeling seed into the fertile soil of your quieted consciousness. You plant it in the stillness. And then, most importantly, you let it go. You release it to the intelligence of the universe, just as a gardener releases a seed to the intelligence of the soil. Fourth, the gardener must water the seed. This is the most crucial and most misunderstood step of all. The water is your focused, feeling attention. You water the seed every time you return to the feeling of your desire as if it were already your reality. This is not obsessive thinking or worried checking. It is an act of joyful, appreciative embodiment. You might take a few moments each day to close your eyes and feel the freedom, the love, the vitality you have planted. You feel the gratitude for it. This appreciative feeling is like pure, life-giving rain. Worry, on the other hand, is like pouring salt water on your garden. Every time you think, when is it going to happen? Why isn't it working? Is this even possible? You are pouring poison on your precious seed. Worry is a statement of disbelief. It is a frequency that tells the universe you are still focused on the absence of your desire, not its presence. A gardener who waters his garden with salt water should not be surprised when nothing grows. Your work is to ignore the current reality of the empty garden plot and to give your feeling attention only to the beautiful rose you know is coming. Fifth, the garden needs sunshine. The sun is the unwavering light of your faith. And faith, in this context, is not a blind hope against the odds. It is a deep, resonant trust in the unseen laws of the universe. It is the inner knowing that the laws of the inner garden are as real, as predictable, and as reliable as the laws of the outer one. A gardener plants a carrot seed and does not worry that it might accidentally grow into a pine tree. He trusts the integrity of the seed and the process. He does not dig up the seed every morning to check if it is sprouting. To do so would demonstrate a catastrophic lack of faith and would, in fact, kill the sprout. You must grant your desire the same trust. Once planted and watered, you must know that the universal intelligence is at work. The seed knows what to do. Your constant checking and questioning only blocks the sunlight of your faith and casts a cold shadow of doubt over the soil. And sixth, the gardener must gently tend to the weeds. As your seed begins to gather energy and prepare to sprout, the old programming will inevitably surface. Weeds of doubt, fear, and impatience will appear in the soil. This is normal. The gardener does not panic. He does not flood the garden with poisonous herbicides. He simply, calmly, and without judgment, notices a weed. He sees the thought, "This is taking too long," and he doesn't fight it or believe it. He acknowledges it, and then gently removes it by returning his focus to the feeling of his watered seed, to the warmth of the sun of his faith. The weed has no power unless you grant it your attention and emotion. After a period of this quiet, consistent, and loving nurturing, you will begin to see sprouts. In your outer world, these will appear as synchronicities. An idea will come to you out of nowhere. You will overhear the perfect conversation. You will meet someone who opens a door. These are the first tender green leaves breaking through the soil, evidence that your inner work is taking root in the world of form. The gardener who has faithfully chosen his seed, prepared his soil, planted with intention, watered with feeling, and trusted with faith, does not hope the rose will bloom. He knows it will bloom. It is the inevitable and natural law of the garden. But there is an even more profound level to this art. a technique that allows the master gardener to collapse time itself. He learns not only to nurture the process, but to embody the result. He learns to smell the divine fragrance of the rose while it is still just a silent seed deep in the dark earth. He feels the impossible velvet of its petals on his fingertips before the first leaf has even broken the surface. He does not just create the conditions for the bloom to happen in the future. He enters the joyful reality of its magnificent, completed bloom in his own consciousness, right here, right now. This is the sacred art of living in the end, and it is the master key to making the garden of your life blossom in truly miraculous ways. You have become the gardener. You have chosen your seed of conscious desire, planted it in the fertile soil of your quieted mind, and learned to water it with the feeling of gratitude. This is the path of faith, a profound trust in the creative laws of the universe. The gardener knows, with a deep and peaceful certainty, that the rose will bloom in its own time. This is a powerful state of being. But there is a way to transcend faith and enter into fact. There is a master technique that collapses the illusion of time and allows you to move from being the gardener who cultivates the process to being the very essence of the bloomed flower itself. It is the sacred art of living in the end. This principle is the master key to all conscious creation. It states that to bring a desire into your physical reality, you must assume the feeling of the wish already fulfilled. You must live from the state of your desire being a present fact rather than a future hope. Why? Because the universe, the great mirror of your consciousness, does not respond to your words, your pleas, or your hopes. It responds only to your state of being, your frequency. Creation is finished. Everything you could ever possibly desire, every state of health, wealth, love, and creative expression already exists as a completed potential within the infinite field of consciousness. It is not something you need to build, but a reality you must learn to occupy. To pray for something is to affirm its absence. The very act of asking implies you do not have it, and so the universe, in its perfect and impersonal wisdom, continues to mirror your state of not having. To give thanks for it, however, is to align with the frequency of its existence. Gratitude is the frequency of reception. You cannot be genuinely grateful for something you do not, on some level of your being, accept as real. Living in the end is the art of shifting your identity from the person who is asking to the person who is grateful because they have already received. Imagine you are a masterful actor, and you have been cast in the role of a lifetime to portray a benevolent, wise, and abundantly prosperous sovereign. The amateur actor would learn the lines, put on the heavy robes, and place the crown on his head. When the cameras roll, he would try to act like a king, but his performance would be hollow, a shallow imitation, because underneath the costume, he is still the person he was before, a man of ordinary consciousness pretending to be royalty. His frequency is one of effort and imitation. The master actor, however, understands that this is not how true embodiment works. He knows that to be convincing, he must become the king before he ever steps on set. His work begins long before the costume is donned. In the quiet laboratory of his own imagination, he begins to think from the state of the king. He asks himself, how would a wise and secure sovereign view this problem? How would he walk? How would he speak? He saturates his mind with the qualities of nobility, grace, and unshakable security. More importantly, he seeks to discover the feeling of being the king. What is the internal state of a person who has no consciousness of lack, who carries immense responsibility with ease, whose every need is already met? He finds that feeling within himself a state of calm authority, of profound inner stillness, of expansive generosity, and he practices living from that feeling. He walks, thinks, and feels as the sovereign in his private moments. He is marinating his consciousness in the frequency of the role. When the time comes for him to finally wear the crown and speak the lines, it is no longer an act. It is a natural overflow of the state he has cultivated within. The audience does not see an actor pretending. They see the king. The world has no choice but to reflect the truth of his being, because on every level that matters, on a vibrational level, he is that reality. You are this master actor. Your life is the stage. Your desired reality is the role you wish to play. To manifest abundance, you must stop being an actor playing the part of a person in lack who is trying to get wealth. You must, in the sacred theater of your own mind, fully and completely assume the feeling state of the secure and prosperous person you desire to be. You do not try to change the world to match your desire. You change yourself to match your desire, and the world has no choice but to change its reflection. How is this done? It is not done through wishful thinking. It is done through a disciplined application of your imagination. First, you must get radically clear on the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Strip away all the details of the how and when. Distill it down to its pure emotional essence. What is the dominant feeling? Is it the feeling of profound relief? Is it the feeling of thrilling freedom? Is it the feeling of deep, unshakable security? Is it the feeling of being utterly cherished and loved? Identify that core feeling. That is your destination. The gateway to impressing this new state upon the canvas of reality is through the subconscious mind. This vast, powerful aspect of your being does not reason or argue. It simply accepts what is impressed upon it as truth and works tirelessly to outpicture it. The portal to the subconscious opens widest in the state, akin to sleep, those drowsy, lucid, and receptive moments just before you drift off at night or as you are first awakening in the morning. In this drowsy, relaxed state, your task is to construct a short, simple scene, a single action, which implies that your desire is already a fact. The scene must follow the fulfillment, not lead up to it. Do not imagine the moment of getting the check. Imagine yourself calmly paying a bill with a feeling of ease and gratitude, knowing there is more than enough. Do not imagine the wedding proposal. Imagine you are falling asleep with your head on your partner's chest, feeling the simple, profound peace of a committed, loving relationship. Do not imagine the doctor giving you the good news. Imagine yourself effortlessly hiking up a mountain, feeling the vibrant energy and strength in your body. Create a short, first-person scene. It must be something you would naturally do and feel after your wish has been realized. And then, in that drowsy state, you loop this scene over and over again, but you do not do it mechanically. You must bring it to life. You must feel the reality of it with every ounce of your being. What would you see through your own eyes? What would you touch? What would you hear? Most importantly, what is the dominant feeling? You must saturate the scene with the feeling of its reality. You feel the cool metal of the keys to your new home in your hand. You feel the warmth of a congratulatory handshake. You feel the deep, calming breath of relief. You persist in this feeling state until it becomes your dominant mood, and you drift off to sleep drenched in the conviction that it is done. You have slept in the state of your wish fulfilled. Now, a war will begin. Your five senses, the loyal soldiers of your past reality, will scream at you in protest. They will present you with mountains of evidence to the contrary. Your bank account, your physical symptoms, the empty side of the bed. They will shout, "This is the truth. Your imagination is a lie." Your logical mind, the captain of this army, will call you a fool. It will label you as delusional and tell you to face the hard facts. This is the great test. You must learn to live in two worlds at once, without contradiction. In your outer world, you deal with the facts as they are, without resistance. You pay the bills you must pay. You go to the doctor. You live your life. But in your inner world, in the impregnable castle of your imagination, you are unwavering. You are the sovereign. You are healthy. You are loved. You must be more loyal to the unseen reality within you than to the fleeting, shadowy reality without. You deny the evidence of the senses and live faithfully from your assumption. This practice of living in the end can feel like a tremendous effort at first, because you are consciously holding a new vibration against the powerful momentum of your old programming. The reason your senses and logical mind fight you so fiercely is because they are the guardians of your current subconscious state. They are loyal to the old film in the projector. To make this art of assumption not a strenuous effort but your natural state of being, you must learn to bypass these guards. You must learn to speak directly to the master programmer, the keeper of all your beliefs, the vast and powerful subconscious mind. Understanding this gatekeeper and how to gently and lovingly give it new instructions is the next great secret to making your desired reality inevitable. You have learned the master art of living in the end. In the sacred theater of your imagination, you have walked as the sovereign, felt as the beloved, and breathed as the healed. Yet, as you open your eyes to the day, you feel the immense gravitational pull of your old reality, an invisible and powerful current that seeks to pull you back into the familiar state of being, back into the old story. This force does not come from the world around you. It comes from the deep, hidden, and profoundly powerful engine room of your being, the subconscious mind. To become a true master of your reality, you must become a friend to this silent, powerful giant. Think of your mind as having two distinct, yet interconnected parts. There is the conscious mind, which you experience as you. It is the captain on the bridge of a great ship. It is your analytical, reasoning mind. It looks out at the world through the five senses. It sets goals, it learns, it uses logic, and it worries. It is the seat of your active will. The conscious mind believes it is in charge, but it is a captain with a very limited view, able to see only the surface of the waves. Beneath the bridge, in the vast engine room of the ship, is the subconscious mind. The subconscious is the enormous, silent, and tireless crew. It does not reason, it does not argue or debate. Its nature is to accept orders from the bridge without question and to carry them out flawlessly. The subconscious mind runs your ship. It controls your heartbeat, your breathing, your digestion, and the miraculous regeneration of your cells, all without any conscious effort from you. But to duty go far deeper. It is the seat of your emotions, the storehouse of your memories, the governor of your habits, and most critically, it is the vault where your most fundamental beliefs about life are kept as absolute law. It is pure, uncritical, creative power. Now, between the captain on the bridge and the crew in the engine room stands a powerful guard. This is the critical faculty of your conscious mind, and its role is that of a gatekeeper. The gatekeeper's sole function is to protect the existing programs running in the engine room. When the captain, your conscious mind, issues a new command, the gatekeeper intercepts it. It analyzes the command and compares it to the established core programming. If you, the captain, decide, "I am going to be healthy," the gatekeeper checks the core program. If the existing program says, "I am prone to illness," the gatekeeper stamps the new order as denied and discards it. If you try to impress the idea, "I am abundant and secure," but the core program, installed in childhood, says, "Life is a struggle and we never have enough," the gatekeeper immediately rejects the new command as a logical absurdity. This is why sheer willpower and simple rote affirmations so often fail. You can stand in front of the mirror shouting, "I am wealthy," 1,000 times, but you are only shouting at a vigilant guard who is programmed to laugh at the suggestion and block it from ever reaching the engine room where the real power lies. The effort of living in the end feels like a struggle because you are trying to force a new reality past a guard whose job it is to preserve the old one. So how do you get past this formidable gatekeeper? You do not fight it. You cannot overpower it with force. The secret is to wait until the gatekeeper is drowsy and off duty, and this happens every single day. Imagine your subconscious mind is the powerful operating system of a supercomputer, running trillions of flawless processes that keep you alive. Your beliefs are its source code, the programming language that dictates its output. Many of us are running our lives on outdated, buggy code. Lines of code installed long ago that read, self-worth equals low. Scarcity is real equals true. Love leads to pain equals true. Effort equals necessary for survival. This code was not written by you consciously. It was absorbed from your environment, from your parents' beliefs, from early childhood experiences of trauma or lack. The unwanted patterns in your life, the recurring relationship problems, the chronic financial struggles are not your fault. They are simply the natural output of this faulty code. Trying to change your life through conscious effort alone is like trying to fix a software bug by polishing the computer monitor. The conscious mind is merely the user interface. You can rearrange the icons on the desktop all you want, but if the underlying code is flawed, the program will inevitably keep crashing in the same way. The only solution is to rewrite the source code, but you cannot do this while the main system is running at full power, with all its analytical firewalls and protective software fully engaged. To access the source code, you must reboot the computer in safe mode. This safe mode for the human mind is the state of deep relaxation, of profound meditation, the state you learned to access when you were living in the end. It is the state akin to sleep, SATS. In this deeply relaxed state, the frantic activity of the conscious mind subsides. The gatekeeper becomes drowsy and nods off. The firewalls of logic and reason are lowered. And in this sacred window of opportunity, you, the conscious creator, become the master programmer. You now have direct, unhindered access to the source code of your reality. The feelings you generate, the imaginal scenes you loop with sensory vividness. These are the new lines of code. When you saturate yourself with the feeling of profound security, you are not pretending. You are literally typing a new command. Security equals absolute truth directly into your core operating system. When you feel the warmth and love of an ideal relationship, you are deleting the old love leads to pain file and replacing it with clean, new code. Because the gatekeeper is asleep, this new code is accepted without question. The vast, powerful subconscious crew receives the new orders and immediately begins to execute them. It begins to alter your perceptions, shift your intuition, change your body chemistry, and subtly influence the quantum field around you to bring forth an outer reality that perfectly matches the new, internal program. This is why your state as you drift off to sleep is the most important moment of your day. It is your nightly programming session. Whatever feeling state dominates your mind as you cross the threshold from waking to sleeping is the primary instruction you are giving to your subconscious for the next several hours. To go to sleep replaying the arguments and worries of the day is to command your subconscious to create more of the same. But to fall asleep marinating in the feeling of your wish already fulfilled is to command the creation of a new and beautiful reality. This is not a one-time fix. You are rewriting a lifetime of programming. It requires gentle, loving persistence. Every night, every meditative session is an opportunity to be the programmer, to reinforce the new code, and to overwrite the old. The subconscious mind learns through repetition and feeling. The feeling is the programming language. The more real it feels in your imagination, the more flawlessly the code is written. Once you have written the code, you must trust the system. You don't need to anxiously check for results every 5 minutes. You trust that the command has been received and the crew is at work. You go about your day, and soon you will begin to notice the glitches in your life starting to fade. The program of your life begins to run more smoothly, more joyfully. As you become more adept at this inner work, you begin to notice that many of the smaller, buggy programs, the fears about money, the insecurities in love, the anxieties about health all seem to be connected. They seem to stem from one master bug, a single foundational error in the operating system from which almost all other limitations and errors arise. This master error is a piece of code so fundamental, so deeply ingrained in the human experience, that we rarely even think to question its validity. It is the program that tells you that you are separate. Separate from others, separate from the world, and most tragically, separate from the very good you desire. Understanding and systematically overriding this core illusion of separation is the next quantum leap in your journey as the architect of your own magnificent life. We have journeyed deep into the engine room of the mind. We have stood before the subconscious, the silent, powerful giant, and have learned to become the programmer, gently rewriting the limiting code of our past. And now we arrive at the root directory. We arrive at the master bug, the original error in the software of human consciousness from which all other feelings of lack, fear, competition, and loneliness are born. It is an idea so fundamental, so pervasive, that we have mistaken it for reality itself. It is the illusion of separation. This illusion is the core belief that you are an isolated self, a lonely island of consciousness, locked inside a fragile bag of skin. It is the unshakable feeling of me in here versus a vast, alien, and unpredictable world out there. From the moment you were taught your name, you were taught this separation. This is your body, those are their bodies. This is your home, that is their home. This is your success, that is their failure. And from this primary division, all suffering flows. When you believe you are a separate me, then everything you desire, love, security, abundance, peace is automatically perceived as being out there, separate from you. And because it is out there, a chasm is created, a gap between you and your good. This gap is the birthplace of painful longing, of anxious striving, and the gnawing fear that you may not be able to successfully cross the chasm to get what you want. The illusion of separation is also the mother of all fear. You fear others because they are not you. You fear the judgment of the world because it is a foreign entity. You fear loss because you believe the things you acquire can be taken away from you, back into the out there. You feel the need to protect, to defend, to hoard, to compete, because you believe you are a vulnerable fragment in a world of other, competing fragments, all fighting for a limited supply of resources. This belief is the source of every war, every conflict, every act of greed, and every moment of aching loneliness you have ever felt. But it is a lie. A profound, deeply conditioned and powerful lie. The great mystics of all traditions, the sages of the ages, and now even the pioneers of quantum physics, have all been pointing to the same revolutionary truth. There is no out there. Underneath the surface appearance of multiplicity, it is all one thing. One unified field of infinite energy and intelligence, one boundless consciousness, expressing itself in a staggering and beautiful variety of forms. You are not a separate drop of water existing in the ocean. You are the entire ocean of consciousness, experiencing itself for a time as a single, unique drop. Your awareness is not your own private possession. It is a localized expression of the one universal awareness that is looking out through every pair of eyes in existence. Imagine a single beautiful wave rising from the surface of a vast and fathomless ocean. From its limited perspective, as it crests and sees the world, it might develop an ego. It might think to itself, I am a wave. I was born at this moment. I have this particular height and this elegant shape. That wave over there is much larger than me. I feel envious. That one is smaller. I feel superior. Oh, I fear the day I will inevitably crash upon the shore and cease to be. My life is so short, so fragile. From its point of view, its experience of separation, competition, and mortality is completely real. But the ocean knows the deeper truth. The ocean knows that the wave is never, not for a single nanosecond, separate from it. The wave is nothing more and nothing less than the ocean itself, rising up to express itself in a temporary, unique form. The very substance of the wave, its power, its movement, its entire life, is the water of the ocean. There is nothing in the wave that is not the ocean. And when the wave fulfills its journey and crashes upon the shore, it does not die. It does not cease to be. It is not annihilated. Its form merely dissolves back into the wholeness from which it was never truly separate. It returns home to itself. You are that wave. Your personality, your body, your history, your name. This is the beautiful and temporary shape that your expression has taken in this lifetime. But your substance, your essence, your consciousness, your very life force is the water of the one universal ocean. To believe you are only the wave is the source of all your suffering. To remember that you are the ocean is the source of all your power. This realization fundamentally transforms your understanding of manifestation. If you are the ocean, then where is the abundance you seek? Where is the love you crave? Where is the vitality you desire? It is not on some distant shore that you must struggle to reach. It is already within you, as an intrinsic and undeniable quality of the ocean itself. The ocean is, by its very nature, abundant. It is, by its nature, powerful. It is, by its nature, whole and complete. A wave does not need to strive to get wet. It is wet. Its wetness is the very essence of its being. You do not need to struggle to get abundance or to get love. You must simply remove the illusory beliefs that are preventing you from experiencing the abundance and love that you inherently are. Therefore, manifestation is not the act of a separate you pulling something from out there to in here. It is the act of the ocean deciding to change the shape of its own expression. It is the one consciousness choosing to experience itself through you as health, as joy, as security. You are not acquiring anything new. You are simply allowing a quality that is already omnipresent within your being to come to the forefront of your local experience. Let us feel this for a moment. Close your eyes. Become aware of the feeling of aliveness in your body, the subtle tingling in your hands and feet, the warmth in your chest. This is the energy of the ocean within you. Now, imagine that this field of aliveness does not stop at the boundary of your skin. Feel it extending outwards, filling the chair you are sitting on, filling the entire room. Feel the energy of the air, the walls, the very light, as part of your own being. There is no separation. Now, allow your awareness to expand further, encompassing your entire city, your country, this beautiful planet. Feel the life force of every other person, every animal, every plant, every rock, as part of this one single vibrating field of consciousness. You are not separate from it. You are it. Now, from this state of oneness, bring to mind the feeling of your desire fulfilled. Let us say it is a feeling of perfect peace. Do not see it as something you need to find or create. Simply recognize that this frequency of peace is already an inherent quality of this infinite field. It is everywhere, like a color of light that permeates all of space. Your work is not to grab it. Your work is simply to tune your local expression. Your wave-toe that frequency. You align with it. You allow it to become your dominant resonance, and the experience of peace must then manifest in your awareness. When you begin to truly feel and live from this state of oneness, the old, fear-based paradigm of a separate self competing for scarce resources begins to crumble. The very concepts of mine and yours become transparent and lose their hard edges. If you and I are both expressions of the same consciousness, then what I give to you, I am in truth giving to another aspect of myself, and what I receive from the world, I am receiving from the totality of myself. The strict, transactional division between giving and receiving blurs and dissolves into a more fluid, graceful reality. This leads to a profound shift in how we engage with the flow of life. We move from a model of acquisition to a model of circulation. We begin to understand that the energy of the universe is not a commodity to be hoarded by separate fragments, but a divine current to be participated in by the whole. Understanding this new dynamic, understanding the true currency of this unified field, is the key to unlocking an effortless and ever-expanding flow of good in your life. You have stepped out of the cramped prison of the separate self and into the boundless expanse of the one ocean of being. The hard, defensive lines between me and the world have begun to soften into a shimmering, permeable membrane. From this new and elevated vantage point of oneness, the old, fear-based rules of engagement with life hoarding, competing, protecting, and acquiring no longer make sense. They are the frantic games of separate fragments, unaware of their shared source. To live from this new consciousness, we must learn to operate according to the true economy of the cosmos. And in this economy, the currency is not money, not power, not influence. The sole and absolute currency of the universe is energy. In the human world, the world built upon the illusion of separation, the economy is transactional. It is a model of if, then. I will give you this, if you give me that. I will love you, if you meet my conditions. I will offer my service, so that I can get paid. Every act of giving is carefully weighed against the expected return. Generosity is often a calculated investment. Love is a contract with clauses and sub-clauses. This entire model is rooted in the frequency of scarcity and fear. It presupposes that resources are limited, that love is finite, and that you must secure your portion before it is gone. In this paradigm, giving is always accompanied by a subtle sense of loss, a depletion of one's own carefully guarded resources. The universe, however, does not operate on a transactional basis. The one consciousness, the ocean of being, operates on a circulatory basis. Its economy is not a series of discrete, contractual exchanges, but a system of perpetual, graceful, and intelligent flow. The fundamental law of this economy is not, you will receive what you earn. The law is, you will experience what you are. The energy you consistently emit, your dominant frequency, your state of being is the cause. The experiences, people, and circumstances you receive back from the world are simply the effect. What you send out is what you get back, not as a reward or a punishment from some external judge, but as a simple, impersonal law of cosmic resonance, as reliable and predictable as the law of gravity. The universe cannot send you experiences of peace if you are a constant broadcaster of anxious, chaotic energy. It is a vibrational impossibility, like trying to tune a radio to a classical station and expecting to hear rock music. Consider the water cycle of our planet, for it is a perfect and beautiful model of the universe's circulatory economy. The sun, representing the infinite energy of Source, shines down upon the ocean. The ocean, in response, freely and without reservation, releases its essence as water vapor into the atmosphere. The ocean does not say, I will only give up this water if I am guaranteed to get it back on this exact spot by Tuesday. It simply gives, it evaporates. This is the principle of non-attached, energetic giving. It is the generous emission of your own core frequency. This vapor then rises and gathers, forming clouds. Its form changes from invisible gas to visible vapor, but its essence remains water. This represents the unseen process of universal intelligence, gathering and rearranging the energy you have emitted. Finally, the clouds, when they are full, release the water back to the earth as life-giving rain. Crucially, the rain does not fall only on the spot from which the vapor rose. It falls everywhere the winds of grace carry it, nourishing forests, fields, and rivers far and wide, before eventually finding its way back to the ocean. The cycle is whole, generous, and intelligent. Now, imagine a part of this system that breaks the law of circulation. Imagine a stagnant, selfish pond that jealously hoards its water. It fears evaporation. It clings to every drop, refusing to release its essence to the warmth of the sun. What is its fate? It becomes brackish, lifeless, choked with algae, and eventually it dries up into a cracked and barren patch of earth. It is cut off from the living flow, and in its attempt to keep what it has, it loses everything. Any part of the system that tries to only receive without giving, or only give without being open to receiving, creates scarcity, decay, and death. You are a part of this cosmic circulatory system. Your energy is meant to flow. If you desire to receive more of something in your life, you must first become a generous emitter of that very energy. You want to receive more love? Then you must stop being a stagnant pond, waiting for someone to come and fill you up. You must become the ocean, freely radiating the energy of love. Radiate love to the people in your life, not because of what they do for you, but for who they are. Radiate love and appreciation to the stranger who serves you coffee, to the beauty of a tree, to the miracle of your own body. Most importantly, radiate unconditional love toward yourself. Become a son of love, emitting its frequency freely and without demanding a specific return. When you do this, the atmosphere of your reality becomes saturated with the vibration of love, and the universe must, by law, precipitate loving people and experiences back into your life, often from the most unexpected directions. You want to receive more financial abundance? Remember that money is simply a physical symbol for the energy of value, of flow, of freedom. To experience more of it, you must align with its circulatory nature. First, you evaporate. You radiate a frequency of abundance and gratitude for the wealth you already have, no matter how small it may seem. Feel wealthy now. Feel secure now. This is the emission. Second, you must allow the energy to flow through you, not just to you. This means releasing the energy and resources you have with a feeling of generosity and trust, not fear and constriction. Tipping generously, paying your bills with gratitude for the service they represent, buying a quality item because you value yourself, celebrating the success of others. These are all acts that send a powerful frequency of "there is more than enough" out into the field. Hoarding your money, making every financial decision from a place of fear and clinging, turns you into the stagnant pond. It signals lack to the universe, and the universe can only reflect your signal back to you. This understanding completely transforms your approach to life. You cease to be a getter. You cease asking, "What can I get from this person, this job, this situation?" Instead, you begin to ask, "What energy can I bring here? How can I be a fountain, not a drain? How can I radiate the very thing I wish to experience?" You stop looking to other people as your source of love or security. The universe is your source. People and situations are simply the diverse and wonderful channels through which the universe delivers the rain, which is merely the return of the vapor you first sent up. But the ocean releases its vapor with a deep and abiding trust. It does not anxiously scan the sky, demanding that the clouds return its water 5 minutes later. The gardener plants his seed and does not stand over it with a stopwatch, demanding that it sprout by noon. There is a natural, intelligent, and perfect rhythm to this universal circulation. An unseen and sacred process of transformation must occur. The energy you emit must be gathered, arranged, and orchestrated by the limitless intelligence of the cosmos. To try and control this process, to worry about how your good will come back to you, or when it will arrive, is to reintroduce the static of resistance and fear into the system. It is to mistrust the wisdom of the seasons and the laws of the atmosphere. Therefore, to truly live in this state of grace and flow, we must cultivate a radical trust in the divine timing of the universe. We must learn to detach from the outcome, releasing not only our energy, but also our anxious need to control the intricate details of its inevitable return. You have become the gardener of your inner world, planting the seed of your desire in the fertile soil of your consciousness. You have become the master actor, assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You have learned to operate according to the universe's true economy, understanding that the energy you radiate is the currency that shapes your life. And now you stand at the most delicate, the most powerful, and often the most challenging precipice of conscious creation. You stand at the great paradox, the art of holding a clear and unwavering intention in your heart. while simultaneously releasing, with absolute and total abandon, all attachment to how and when it will manifest. This is the final test of trust. It is the point where most spiritual seekers stumble, where the momentum of a beautifully crafted reality can grind to a halt. The human mind, the ego, is a magnificent survival machine, and its primary strategy for survival is control. It believes, with every fiber of its being, that if it does not analyze, strategize, predict, and manipulate the details of life, then chaos will ensue. It believes that it must figure out the how. This desperate need to map out the path from here to there is the final, most stubborn oar that we refuse to release. We may have let go of rowing against the past, but we cling with a white-knuckled grip to the oar of the future, believing that our frantic paddling is what will bring our desire to shore. The vibrational cost of this need for control is immense. The very act of worrying about the how is a powerful broadcast of doubt to the universe. It is a prayer in reverse. When you hold the feeling of your wish fulfilled for 5 minutes in meditation, and then spend the next 5 hours mentally rehearsing all the obstacles and worrying about how you will overcome them, what frequency are you truly living in? You are holding the vision of radiant health in one hand, while embodying the vibration of, "What if this symptom gets worse?" in the other. You are attempting to feel the reality of abundance, while simultaneously sending out frantic signals of, "How will I ever pay this bill?" This creates a state of energetic incoherence. It is like planting a seed in your garden and then returning every hour to douse it with the salt water of your doubt. You are negating your own creative act. To obsess over the how is to tell the universe, with absolute conviction, "I don't actually believe you are powerful enough or intelligent enough to handle this. I don't trust you. I must figure it out myself." To break free from this self-sabotaging pattern, you must come to a profound and peaceful understanding of the divine division of labor. There is your job, and there is the universe's job. And when you try to do the universe's job, you are not only failing at it, but you are also neglecting your own. Your job is elegantly simple. Your job is the what and the why. Your job is to get crystal clear on what you wish to experience, not as a list of objects or achievements, but as a pure, distilled feeling state. Your job is to understand why you desire it for the joy, the expansion, the love, the freedom it represents, and your most important job is to then embody that frequency, to marinate in that feeling, to live in the end. You are the lighthouse. Your only responsibility is to be the light. You are not responsible for arranging the path of the ships. You are not responsible for the weather. You are not responsible for the tides. You are only, and ever, responsible for the quality and consistency of the light that you shine. That is your part of the divine contract. The universe's job is everything else. The universe's job is the how, the when, the who, and the where. The universe is the master chess player with a view of infinite timelines and infinite possibilities. It is the master conductor of a symphony so complex and interwoven that your conscious mind cannot even begin to comprehend its score. The universe can see the shortest, most graceful, most magical, and most joyful pathway from your present state to your desired state. It can see how the person you will meet tomorrow holds the key to an opportunity that will not appear for another year. It can see how the seeming disaster of losing your job is actually the most direct route to the career of your dreams. Your logical mind, with its limited, linear perspective, sees only a few possible moves ahead, and most of them are fraught with difficulty. The universe sees a billion pathways, and it will always choose the path of least resistance for you, if you allow it. Your insistence on a specific how is like a single brick in a great cathedral, telling the master architect how the whole structure must be built. Your obsession with your own limited plan may be the very thing that is blocking a far grander and more miraculous how from unfolding. You are telling the master pilot how to fly the plane, unaware that your proposed route leads directly into a mountain range he can clearly see and is trying to steer you away from. Let us return to our metaphor of the universal catalog. Imagine you are on the most sophisticated online store in existence. You have browsed the catalog of realities not with your eyes, but with your heart. You have found the state you wish to order, a state of deep, abiding peace and creative fulfillment. You have placed it in your cart. This was the act of choosing your desire. You then proceed to the checkout. The payment method is not money. The payment is your faith and feeling. You pay by entering the state of the wish fulfilled, by feeling the profound peace and fulfillment as if it were already yours. You click Confirm Order. In that moment, a deep sense of relief and knowing washes over you. This is your order confirmation. It is done. Now, this is the crucial moment. The anxious creator, the one who does not understand the divine division of labor, immediately opens the order tracking page. He refreshes it every 30 seconds. Has it shipped yet? Where is it now? What is the estimated time of arrival? He zooms in on the map, trying to guess the route the delivery truck will take. He worries. What if the truck gets a flat tire? What if the driver gets lost? What if my package is delivered to the wrong house? He works himself into a frenzy of anxiety and doubt. And what is the vibrational message of this behavior? It is a constant stream of signals to the universe saying, I don't trust your delivery service. I think you've lost my package. I'm not sure I'm going to get it. This frantic energy scrambles the signal, confuses the delivery, and can even, in effect, cancel the order because his dominant frequency is now one of, where is my package? Not, thank you for my package. The master creator, the wise creator, behaves very differently. He places his order. He savors the feeling of the confirmation, the deep peace of knowing it is done. And then he closes the browser. He gets up and goes about his life in the joyful and confident knowing that a perfect system is now at work on his behalf. He trusts the delivery service implicitly. He knows it is infinitely intelligent and has a logistics network beyond his wildest comprehension. He does not need to know the driver's name or the truck's license plate number. He knows that his only job now is to keep his own vibration high, to enjoy his life, and to make sure he is home when the delivery arrives. His state is one of relaxed, happy anticipation, not one of anxious, needy clinging. And then one day, when he is perhaps least expecting it, there is a gentle knock at the door. The package has arrived. It might come in a different box than he imagined. It might be delivered by a person he never expected. But when he opens it, the contents, the feeling, the reality of peace and fulfillment that he ordered are exactly, perfectly, what he asked for. This is the state you must cultivate. It is a state of active trust, not passive resignation. Trust is a muscle. You strengthen it every time you feel the tendrils of worry about the how begin to creep into your mind. When they do, you do not fight them. You acknowledge them, and then you gently and lovingly redirect your attention back to your true job, feeling the lighthouse beam of your wish fulfilled. You trust that the how is being handled by a power infinitely greater and wiser than your conscious mind. Sometimes, the delivery may seem delayed. You must understand that this is also an act of love from the universe. The delay is not a denial. It is a period of necessary preparation. Perhaps the universe is waiting for you to clear out the old, broken furniture from your house before the beautiful new furniture you ordered can be delivered. There is simply no room for it yet. Perhaps it is waiting for you to develop the emotional maturity and self-worth to sustain the incredible relationship you have asked for. To receive it now would be to sabotage it. Trust that the timing is always perfect. The universal orchestrator makes no mistakes. But what do you do while you wait? Do you simply sit on the couch and do nothing? Detachment from the outcome is not apathy or inaction. It is the end of anxious, forced action and the beginning of inspired, joyful action. While you trust the universe with the grand plan, it will begin to communicate with you. It will provide you with a personalized, intuitive GPS to guide you along the beautiful delivery route it has planned. It will send you signs. It will give you whispers of intuition. It will plant sudden, joyful urges in your heart to go here, to call this person, to start that project. These are not the anxious, strategic plans of the ego. These are the divine breadcrumbs dropped by your soul, leading you step by step toward the knock on the door. Learning to recognize and joyfully act upon this subtle, magical guidance, the sacred language of synchronicity, is the art of joyfully co-creating your own delivery. You have released the oars. You have surrendered your anxious need to control the how and the when, choosing instead to float in the peaceful and intelligent current of the river of life. In this state of quiet allowance, a new faculty of perception begins to awaken within you, like eyes adjusting to the dim, magical light of a forest at twilight. You begin to notice that the universe is not silent. It has never been silent. It is constantly speaking to you, constantly guiding you, constantly leaving you clues. It does not speak in loud, booming commands or written instructions. Its language is far more elegant, subtle, and playful. It is the language of synchronicity. Coincidence is the word used by a mind that believes in a random, mechanical, and meaningless universe. Synchronicity is the term used by a soul that is awakening to the truth of an intelligent, interconnected, and responsive cosmos. It is the recognition of a meaningful pattern in the tapestry of your life, a moment when the inner world of your thoughts and feelings aligns perfectly with an event in the outer world. It is a wink from the universe, a tangible piece of feedback that lets you know your order has been received, your frequency is being read, and the delivery is in process. These moments are not random accidents. They are the carefully placed breadcrumbs on the path to your desire. Imagine you are walking through a vast and enchanted forest on your way to a hidden castle, the castle that represents your fulfilled desire. You have entrusted the map and the route to the spirit of the forest, the infinite intelligence of the universe. You do not know the path, but the spirit has promised to guide you. To do so, it leaves a trail of shimmering, luminous breadcrumbs for you to follow. They are not the destination itself, but they are proof that you are on the right path. What do these breadcrumbs look like in your life? They are often small, seemingly insignificant events that, when viewed through the lens of awareness, are imbued with profound meaning. One of the most common forms is the repetition of numbers. You have a flash of inspiration about your new business, and you glance at the clock and see 11, 11. You have a moment of feeling deep gratitude for your desire as if it were already here. And you notice the license plate on the car in front of you is 444. You get a receipt from a store for $22.22. These are not mere mathematical quirks. Think of them as small, reassuring chimes from the enchanted forest, gentle bells that ring to let you know the path is clear, your energy is aligned, and you are being guided. They are a simple and direct yes from the universe. Another form is the overheard conversation. You are wrestling with a decision, feeling lost and confused. You walk past a bench in a park, and you overhear one stranger say to another the exact phrase or piece of wisdom that speaks directly to the heart of your problem, unlocking a new perspective for you. This is a breadcrumb. You might be thinking of an old friend you haven't spoken to in a decade, and that very afternoon, the phone rings and it is them. This is a breadcrumb. A song may come on the radio at the precise moment you are feeling a certain emotion, and its lyrics seem to be narrating your inner world, offering comfort or clarity. This, too, is a breadcrumb. The purpose of these signs is twofold. First, they serve as confirmation. They are the universe's way of nodding and smiling at you, saying, "I hear you. I feel your new frequency. We are in alignment. Keep going." This confirmation is vital, for it builds your faith. It moves your belief from the realm of abstract theory to lived, magical experience. It replaces blind hope with a growing, confident knowing. Second, these synchronicities serve to guide your inspired action. A breadcrumb is not the castle, but it shows you where to take the next step. The unexpected phone call from the old friend might be a nudge to ask them for advice. The overheard conversation might be a prompt to investigate the idea that was sparked. The synchronicity is often a green light, an invitation to move in a particular direction. It is not a detailed roadmap, but a gentle, intuitive prompt that says, yes, move this way. There is energy here for you. So why do so many people live their lives completely oblivious to this constant, magical dialogue? The universe is always whispering, but the human mind is usually shouting. If your inner world is a relentless storm of anxious thoughts about the past and worried projections about the future, you are deaf and blind to the subtle magic unfolding around you in the present moment. You are so busy studying the old, teared map of your fears and limitations that you do not see the shimmering breadcrumbs lying at your very feet. To perceive the language of synchronicity, you must cultivate a new inner state. This state is one of relaxed, open awareness. It is not an active, frantic hunt for signs. To desperately look for signs is to come from a place of neediness and doubt, a frequency which actually repels the very magic you seek. Instead, it is a state of playful curiosity. It is an openness to the possibility that life is intelligent, that the world is speaking to you, that magic is real. You simply go about your day with a part of your awareness held gently open, like a satellite dish tilted toward the sky, ready to receive a signal. And when a potential synchronicity occurs, when the numbers line up, when the strange coincidence happens, you must learn to trust the resonance within your own body. Your logical mind, the gatekeeper, will rush in to dismiss it. That's just a coincidence. Don't be foolish. It means nothing. But your soul, your inner being, will respond differently. You may feel a sudden chill down your spine. You may feel a leap of joy or excitement in your chest. You may feel a sudden, quiet, and profound sense of knowing that washes over you. This feeling, this somatic response, is the truth. That is your soul recognizing the message. You must learn to honor the leap of the heart over the dismissal of the head. When you do, and you simply whisper a quiet thank you to the universe, you are encouraging it. You are telling it, message received. I am listening. Send me more. And it will. So we see that to successfully live in this creative paradoxo, detach from the future outcome, while simultaneously noticing the present moment guidance requires a very specific state of being. You cannot be lost in the future, worrying about the how and the when. You cannot be anchored in the past, replaying old stories. The language of synchronicity only ever speaks in one tense, the present. The breadcrumbs only ever appear on the path directly in front of you, right here, right now. This brings us to the ultimate foundation of all creation, all peace, and all magical perception. It is the practice of inhabiting the only point in time where your power truly exists, where the universe can actually speak to you. The enchanted forest can only be perceived from the clearing in which you are standing right now. To truly master your life, and to receive its loving guidance with clarity and ease, you must learn to anchor your awareness fully and completely in the sacred power of the present moment. You have learned to release your anxious grip on the how and the when. You have opened your awareness to the magical language of synchronicity, the luminous breadcrumbs that the universe leaves on your path. But where precisely is this path? Is it found by analyzing the terrain of yesterday? Is it discovered by projecting a map onto the fog of tomorrow? The path, the breadcrumbs, the power, and life itself are only ever found in one place, a place you have spent your entire life avoiding, a place so simple and so obvious that the restless mind overlooks it entirely. It is the sacred, eternal, and ever-present now. Your mind has been conditioned to live in a prison of its own making. This prison is called psychological time. It is crucial to distinguish this from practical clock time. Clock time is a useful tool. We use it to schedule a meeting, to cook a meal, to learn from a past experience and apply that lesson to a present action. Clock time is functional. Psychological time, however, is a poison. It is the ego's compulsive and addictive need to dwell in a past that no longer exists and to project itself into a future that has no reality. It is the heavy burden of all your yesterdays and the crushing weight of all your imagined tomorrows piled relentlessly upon the fragile living moment. Think of the past. The mind loves to return there, to the vast museum of memory. It wanders the halls, staring at the portraits of old grievances, rereading the plaques of past glories, and reliving the dramas of old wounds. When you are lost in thought about a past betrayal or a past failure, your body does not know it is the past. For your nervous system, it is happening right now. It dutifully floods your body with the chemistry of stress, of cortisol and adrenaline. You are, in effect, forcing your body to relive its traumas over and over again. The event is gone, but the pain is perpetually recreated by your own mind. This is the nature of the pain body, a dense energy field of old, accumulated emotion that feeds on your unconscious identification with the past. It keeps you locked in a cycle of suffering, forever defined by what was. Then there is the future. The mind projects itself forward into a realm of pure phantom and speculation. It plays endless what-if scenarios, trying to control 1,000 variables that are not real. This is the root of all anxiety. Anxiety cannot exist without the future. It is the gap between where you are and where you imagine you might be. The future you worry about is a ghost. It has no substance. It has no power over you. Your worry about it, however, has immense power. It drains the life, the vitality, and the creative potential out of the only moment that is ever real, now. You have been living your life in this prison, shuttling back and forth between the morgue of the past and the haunted house of the future. And in doing so, you have missed life itself. Imagine you are standing in a long, infinite, windowless hallway. The wall behind you is covered with vivid paintings of every moment of your past. Your first love, your greatest failure, your childhood joys, your deepest shames. They are all there. The wall in front of you is not a wall, but a shimmering, hazy screen, projecting an endless and chaotic film of possible futures. Scenes of triumph, scenes of disaster, your secret hopes, your darkest fears. You have spent your entire life running back and forth in this hallway. You run to the back to stare at a painful painting, feeling the old emotions well up. Then, terrified by that, you sprint toward the front to get lost in a fantasy on the screen, a daydream of a better tomorrow. You are a prisoner in the hallway of your own mind. In your frantic obsession with these two mesmerizing walls, you have forgotten the most important feature of the hallway. It is not on the wall behind you or the screen in front of you. It is right where you are standing. Between the past and the future, there is a single, simple, and perpetually unlocked door. This door is the present moment. It is the only real place in the entire hallway. It is the only exit from the prison of psychological time. It is the only portal through which grace, creativity, intuition, true peace, and life itself can enter. Everything you have ever wanted, love, joy, abundance can only be delivered to you through the doorway of the now. It cannot be delivered to your memory of yesterday. It cannot be delivered to your fantasy of tomorrow. The delivery address is always here, always now. So how do you find this door? How do you open it? The beautiful secret is that it is already open. You are already standing in it. You simply have to stop running away from it. The practice of presence is not one of achievement, but one of surrender. It is the gentle and repeated act of bringing your wandering attention back home. You can do this by using anchors, simple tools to ground you in the reality of the present. The most accessible anchor is your own body. Right now, can you feel the subtle field of aliveness that pervades your hands? A slight tingling, a warmth, a humming. You don't have to think about it. You just have to feel it. That feeling is happening now. Let your attention move to the aliveness in your feet, your legs, your arms, your chest. This inner body is your direct link to the present moment. It is always here. Anchor your awareness in it. Another powerful anchor is your breath. Your breath is never in the past or the future. Follow the complete journey of a single breath. Feel the cool air enter your nostrils. Feel the expansion of your lungs, and then feel the surrender as the warm air leaves your body. In the space of one conscious breath, you have left the prison of thought and entered the reality of the now, or use your senses. Look at a flower, a cup, or a tree as if you were seeing it for the first time. Drop the mental label of flower and just see the color, the intricate texture, the shape, the aliveness, without a single word. In that moment of pure, non-judgmental perception, you are present. Why is this practice so transformative? Why does it hold such power? Because the now is the only point of access to the timeless, formless realm of pure potential, the quantum field, the ocean of being you have come to know. Your creative power does not exist in your memory. It does not exist in your future projections. Your power to choose, to create, to align your frequency exists only in this eternal moment of isness. All problems require psychological time to survive. A problem is a mental construct created by the gap between what is and a story in your head about what it should be. When you bring your full, non-judgmental presence to the situation as it is, the problem dissolves. The story dissolves. What is left is simply a situation. A situation can be dealt with. A situation calls for either acceptance or action, but it does not call for worry. Worry cannot survive in the now. This is the end of the state of becoming and the beginning of the state of pure being. Living in psychological time means you are always in the process of becoming. I am not yet peaceful, but I will be when I get this job. I am not yet worthy, but I will be when I find a partner. You are always striving for a future state to complete you. But in the deep presence of the now, you are not becoming anything. You simply are. You are not becoming whole. You are whole now. You are not becoming worthy. You are worthy now. All true power flows from this state of being, not from the struggle of becoming. This reframes the entire art of manifestation. Living in the end is not about projecting yourself into a future moment. It is about bringing the feeling state of that fulfilled future into the only moment that exists, now. You feel the abundance now. You feel the love now. You feel the peace now. You collapse time by embodying your desire in the present. But what happens when the present moment is uncomfortable? What happens when the now is filled with physical pain, or a difficult emotion like grief, anger, or fear? This is the ultimate test of presence. It is in these moments that the ego's addiction to psychological time is at its strongest. It desperately wants to escape the discomfort of what is by fleeing into nostalgic memories of a better past or into hopeful fantasies of a pain-free future. This is the great human escape mechanism. But the path of the master is the path of radical presence. It means having the courage to be present with everything, not just the pleasant things. It means allowing the raw sensation of grief to be here, now, without the story you have attached to it. It means feeling the fiery energy of anger in your body, now, without the mental justification for it. It means being with the sensation of pain, without the additional layer of mental resistance that screams, "This shouldn't be happening." This is the deepest form of surrender. This practice of allowing all things to coexist within your awareness in the now leads us to the final frontier of inner freedom. It requires that we make peace with the aspects of ourselves that we have judged as negative or dark, the parts of our experience and our personality that we have tried to suppress, deny, and run away from for our entire lives. To be truly, unconditionally present, you must be willing to be present with your own shadow. This is not a frightening task to be avoided. It is the ultimate act of self-love, the final integration that is the key to unlocking a state of profound and unbreakable wholeness. You have learned to anchor yourself in the sacred power of the now. You have discovered that the present moment is the only place where life truly happens, the only portal through which grace can enter. But as you commit to staying present, you are confronted with a profound challenge. What arises in the now is not always peace, light, and joy. Sometimes, what arises is a sudden, hot surge of anger, a cold, sharp pang of jealousy, a deep, hollow wave of sadness, a trembling vibration of fear, and the immediate spiritual impulse, the one taught by a culture of superficial positivity, is to reject this experience, to push it away, to quickly raise your vibration, to force a better feeling thought, to escape the discomfort as fast as possible. This is the great trap of spiritual bypassing, the pervasive and dangerous fallacy of good vibes only. This impulse to deny and suppress what is uncomfortable has created a deep schism within your own being. It has forced you to create a shadow. The shadow self, a concept brought to light by the great psychologist Carl Jung, is not your evil side. It is not a monster lurking within you. Your shadow is, quite simply, all the parts of your natural, human self that you have deemed unacceptable and have therefore disowned, repressed, and pushed into the dark basement of your psyche. In this shadow, you have stored all the emotions and traits that didn't fit with the idealized image of who you thought you should be. You have stored your messy, untamed anger, your profound vulnerability, your unlovable neediness, your righteous rage, your secret greed, your wild, untamed creativity. You have exiled these vital, energetic parts of yourself, pretending they do not exist. But what you resist persists. What you deny defines you from the dark. The energy of these disowned parts does not simply vanish when you ignore it. It festers, it congeals, it seeks expression in unconscious ways. The shadow, when left unacknowledged, does not go away. It projects itself outward onto your world. It runs your life from behind the scenes. You begin to despise the arrogance you see in your boss because it is a reflection of the healthy pride you have denied in yourself. You judge the laziness of another because you have suppressed your own deep need for rest and surrender. You attract partners who are emotionally unavailable because you have disowned your own profound needs for connection and intimacy. The shadow, when it is ignored, becomes the silent saboteur of your best intentions, the ghost in your machine, ensuring that you repeat the same painful patterns over and over again. Imagine yourself as a great, magnificent tree. Your conscious aspiration is to grow ever upward, reaching for the sun, for the light. You want to produce beautiful, vibrant leaves, fragrant blossoms, and nourishing fruit for the world. This is your noble desire for love, for joy, for abundance, for spiritual realization. But as you grow, you become ashamed of your roots. They are not pretty. They are gnarled, twisted, and they dwell in the dark, damp, messy earth. They are not elegant like your blossoms or impressive like your height. And so, you begin to deny your roots. You try with all your might to become a tree of pure light, a tree with no connection to the dark ground below. You pour all your energy into your branches, into being positive, spiritual, and enlightened. What is the fate of such a tree? The first strong wind of life that comes along a job loss, a difficult diagnosis, a heartbreak topples it over with ease. It has no stability. It has no anchor. It is ungrounded. And because it has cut itself off from its roots, it can no longer draw up the essential water and nutrients from the soil. Its leaves begin to wither. Its blossoms fade before they can open. Its fruit is small and tasteless. A tree that denies its roots is a tree that is destined to die of malnourishment and instability. The wise tree, the whole tree, understands a deeper truth. It understands that its strength, its vitality, and its very ability to reach the light comes directly from its journey into the darkness. Its roots are not its shame. They are its power. They are its anchor, holding it firm against the inevitable storms of life. They are its nourishment, drawing up the rich, life-giving nutrients from the dark soil that make every single blossom possible. The wise tree knows a profound secret. The deeper its roots grow down into the darkness, the higher its branches can reach up toward the light. The two are not in opposition. They are in a sacred, inseparable partnership. The tree's beauty is a direct result of its courage to embrace the messiness of the earth. Your shadow self is your root system. To deny it is to live as a dangerously unstable and malnourished being. Within your shadow lies the very power you seek. Your buried anger contains the raw, fierce energy you need to set healthy boundaries and protect your sacred space. Your disowned grief is the measure of your profound capacity to love deeply. Your suppressed fear contains the life-saving wisdom of caution and the fuel you need to cultivate true courage. Your hidden vulnerability is the only gateway to genuine, heartfelt intimacy. To deny these parts of yourself is to cut yourself off from the source of your own authentic power and to live as a pale imitation of the vibrant, whole being you were meant to be. The work, then, is not to eliminate the shadow, which is impossible. It is to turn toward it with courage, compassion, and curiosity. It is the work of integration. The practice is simple, though it requires great presence. When a negative emotion or a shadow aspect arises in the now, your first step is to resist the urge to push it away. Instead, you whisper a gentle, internal invitation. When a wave of jealousy washes over you, instead of shaming yourself, you can mentally say, "Jealousy, I see you. You are welcome here. You are a part of me. What are you trying to show me? What unmet need are you pointing to?" When fear constricts your chest, you can breathe into it and say, "Fear, I feel you. I will not abandon you. I will stay with you. What are you trying to protect me from?" You then gently unhook the emotion from the mental story that the ego has attached to it. You drop the narrative of blame and justification, and you simply allow the raw energy of the feeling to exist in your body. You feel the heat of anger in your torso, the hollowness of grief in your chest, the electric vibration of fear in your hands, all without judgment. You are bringing these abandoned children out of the dark basement and into the warm, loving light of your conscious awareness. You are giving them breath. You are letting them be seen and felt, perhaps for the first time. As you do this, a miraculous alchemy begins. The immense amount of energy that was being used to suppress these feelings is liberated. The anger, once it is felt and its message is heard, no longer needs to rage. Its energy transforms into clear, decisive action. The grief, once it is allowed to move through you, carves out a greater capacity for love in your heart. You are not destroying the shadow. You are harvesting its gold. You are reclaiming the lost fragments of your own soul. Embracing your shadow does not make you a dark person. It makes you a whole person. It makes you real, authentic, and unbreakable. A person who has made peace with their own darkness is no longer afraid of the darkness in others. A person who has acknowledged their own capacity for anger is no longer controlled by the anger of others. They become a force of profound stability, wisdom, and compassion in the world. And from this newfound place of radical self-acceptance, a new feeling begins to bloom, quietly and powerfully. It is a deep and unshakable gratitude, not just a polite gratitude for your gifts, your light, and your successes. It is a far more profound gratitude for your entire being, a gratitude for your wounds, for your anger, for your fears, for your beautiful, messy, and complete humanity. You become grateful for the deep, gnarled roots as much as you are for the beautiful, sun-kissed blossoms. This all-encompassing gratitude is not just a pleasant emotion. It is the very frequency of receiving the boundless gifts of a universe that has always, and will always, see you as perfectly whole. You have stood in the stillness of the now. You have had the profound courage to turn and face your own shadow, to embrace the gnarled roots as well as the sun-kissed blossoms of your being. From this sacred ground of radical self-acceptance, a new feeling has begun to bloom within you, not from effort, but from a deep and authentic wholeness. It is a quiet, powerful, and all-encompassing gratitude. We must now turn our full attention to this feeling, for it is not a mere polite sentiment or a pleasant emotional byproduct. It is the master key that turns the lock of reality. It is the very frequency of miracles. For most of your life, you have been taught to think of gratitude as a reaction. It is the thank you say after a gift has been received, after a kindness has been shown, after a desired outcome has manifested. This is conditional gratitude. It is beautiful and necessary as a social grace, but in the creative economy of the universe, it is only the faintest echo of gratitude's true power. This reactive model keeps you in a state of perpetual waiting. You are waiting for something good to happen in the outer world so that you can feel the pleasant feeling of gratitude in your inner world. You are, once again, making your inner state a dependent slave to your outer circumstances, the very prison we have been learning to dismantle. We must now invert this understanding completely. True, creative gratitude is not an effect, it is a cause. It is not a response to a reality that has been delivered to you. It is the very vibrational signature that commands the delivery. Gratitude, in its purest form, is the emotional state of receiving. It is the feeling of the wish already fulfilled. Let us explore the physics of this. The universe, the great mirror of your consciousness, is not responding to your words of wanting or your pleas of needing. It is responding, with flawless and impersonal precision, to your state of being, your dominant frequency. The frequency of wanting or needing is a powerful broadcast of lack. It shouts into the quantum field, I do not have, I am incomplete. There is a gap between me and my good. The universe, hearing this powerful signal of lack, can only reflect more experiences of lack back to you. The frequency of genuine gratitude, however, is the most powerful and coherent broadcast of fulfillment. It sings into the field, I have already received, I am whole, I am cared for, I am complete, it is done. When the universe feels this clear, stable, and powerful signal of fulfillment, it has no choice, by its very law, but to organize itself to bring you more circumstances, more people, and more experiences that perfectly match that frequency. You cannot simultaneously be in a state of genuine gratitude and a state of desperate lack. They are mutually exclusive vibrations. They cannot occupy the same space in your consciousness. The moment you find one true thing to be authentically grateful for, the ghost of lack vanishes from that corner of your mind. To fill your consciousness with gratitude is to leave no room for fear to take root. Imagine your being is a beautiful vessel, a cup held out to the universe. When you are in a state of complaint, judgment, resentment, or worry, your cup is filled with the stagnant, murky water of those low frequencies. It is already full. There is no room for anything new, fresh, or life-giving to enter. The universe, which is always seeking to give, sees your full cup and passes by, for there is nowhere to pour its grace. The practice of gratitude is the sacred act of tipping out the murky water and cleansing your cup. But it does more than this. The very energy of sincere appreciation, of deep love for what is, makes the clay of the vessel itself more pliable, more resonant, more expansive. Each moment of genuine gratitude stretches your cup, increasing its capacity to receive. The more you are grateful for, the more you can be grateful for. Your capacity for receiving grows with every appreciative thought. Now, see the universe as an infinite, ceaseless fountain of all good. It is a fountain of well-being, of love, of vitality, of creativity, of abundance. This fountain is not miserly or judgmental. Its very nature is to give, to overflow, constantly and without end. It is constantly seeking a place to pour its gifts. Does it pour into the cup that is already full of sludge and tightly constricted by fear? Or does it pour into the clean, open, and expansive vessel that is joyfully positioned under its flow, ready and willing to receive? The universe always fills a ready container. Your daily practice of gratitude is the sacred act of preparing your vessel. You are not begging the fountain to flow. It is already flowing. You are simply making yourself a worthy and capable container for the abundance that is already here. The practice of the Master moves beyond simply being grateful for the obvious good things: a sunny day, a good meal, a comfortable home. Radical gratitude learns to find the gift in everything. It is the ability to be genuinely grateful for a challenge, for it has revealed to you a strength you did not know you possessed. It is the ability to be grateful for a heartbreak, for it has carved out a deeper capacity for compassion in your soul. It is the ability to be grateful for a perceived failure, for it has closed a door that was not right for you, and in so doing, has pointed you toward your true path. Let us practice for a moment now. Close your eyes. Bring your awareness into your body, into the here and now. Find one single thing in your life, no matter how small or insignificant it may seem, that you can genuinely feel appreciation for. Perhaps it is the chair that is supporting you. Feel its solidness, its support. Be truly grateful for it. Perhaps it is the memory of a kind word someone once said to you. Bring that memory to mind and feel the warmth of it now. Perhaps it is simply the air entering your lungs, this ceaseless, effortless gift of life that you receive every second of every day. Focus on that one thing. Don't just think the thought, "I am grateful." Go deeper. Feel the emotion of gratitude. Let the warm, expansive feeling begin in your heart, and then allow it to spread throughout your entire body. Feel the space this single thought of appreciation creates inside you. Feel the lightness. That feeling, that spacious warmth, is the frequency of reception. It is the sound of your vessel becoming clean and open. As this state of gratitude becomes your natural home, your default state of being, a final, profound shift in identity occurs. You come to realize that gratitude is not the humble posture of a beggar, thankful for a few scraps thrown from the table of life. It is the calm, confident, and natural resting state of the conscious creator. A creator who knows they are one with the infinite field, who knows they can shape reality with the power of their own consciousness, is naturally, perpetually grateful. Why? Because they know their good is not a random gift from an unpredictable, external source that might be withheld tomorrow. They know their good is the inevitable, lawful result of their own aligned state of being. They are grateful in advance, because for them, the desire and its fulfillment are not two separate events. They are a single, unified reality. This realization is the final turning point. It moves you beyond the passive role of a magnetic attractor of good things and awakens you to the staggering truth that you are the very source of that attraction. You are not just receiving the reality you want, you are generating it from the very substance of your own being. This is the momentous shift from seeing yourself as an attractor to knowing yourself as the creator. You have walked a long and sacred path. You have journeyed from the noisy, chaotic marketplace of the outer world into the deep, silent temple of your own inner being. You have learned to become the gardener of your mind, the master of your emotions, the sovereign of the now. You have embraced your wholeness, your light, and your shadow, and have discovered the profound, creative power of authentic gratitude. In this state of gratitude, you have felt the first stirrings of a monumental shift in your identity, a realization that your good is not a random gift, but an inevitable result of your own alignment. Now we must fan that spark into a flame. We must take the final, most liberating step. We must graduate from the school of attraction and claim our mastery as the creator. For so long, you have been a dedicated student of a beautiful and powerful law, the law of attraction. This law has been your primary school, your university of consciousness. It has taught you the undeniable and magical link between your inner world and your outer world. You have practiced visualizing your desires, affirming your intentions, and learning to hold a frequency that acts as a great magnet, drawing people, experiences, and opportunities to you from the vast, unseen field of potential. This work has been crucial. It has served you beautifully, for it has awakened you from the slumber of victimhood and shown you that you are not powerless, but powerful. It has proven to you that your focus matters, that your feelings matter. But today, you are invited to graduate. You are invited to move beyond the kindergarten of consciousness into the reality of your own godhood. The very framework of attraction, while useful, contains a subtle but profound limitation. It implies a duality that you are now ready to transcend. The word attraction suggests that there is an attractor, you and something separate, to be attracted your desire. It frames reality as you being here and your good being out there in the ether across a cosmic distance. Your work in this model is to generate a magnetic charge strong enough and hold it long enough to pull that separate thing toward you. While true from one level of perspective, this still places you in the position of being a powerful magnet, yes, but a magnet nonetheless. You are still a receiver of things that you perceive as separate from your own being. This is why the practice of attraction can sometimes feel like a great and exhausting effort. It is why it can be fraught with doubt and anxiety. Am I doing it right? Is my vibration high enough? Have I held the thought for long enough? Is it working? You are constantly checking the signal, trying to amplify your magnetic power, hoping it is strong enough to traverse the gap between you and your desire. These are the noble but tiresome questions of the attractor. They are not the questions of the creator. Imagine your spiritual journey as a voyage across a dark and formless ocean. In the beginning, you were a ship, lost at sea. You were tossed about by the waves of circumstance, drifting aimlessly without power or direction. Then, you discovered the law of attraction. You looked out and saw a brilliant light on the distant horizon's lighthouse that represented your desire for love, for peace, for abundance. You learned that by focusing on that light, by steering your vessel with the rudder of your intention, and by aligning your sails to the winds of positive emotion, you could attract yourself to that light. The lighthouse was your destination, your fixed point of hope. You followed its beam diligently. In this phase, you were the ship, and you were a magnificent navigator, learning to guide your vessel toward the light. After much practice, your ship finally reaches the shore. The journey across the water is complete. You disembark, your feet now on solid ground, and you walk with a grateful heart toward the great tower that guided you home. You climb the winding stone stairs, spiraling ever upward, the air growing brighter and more vibrant with each step. You finally reach the lantern room at the very pinnacle, the source of the immense reality-shaping light that you followed for so long. You push open the heavy door, expecting to meet the great lighthouse keeper, the powerful being who was generating the beam. And as you step inside, you discover the most staggering, heart-stopping, and liberating truth of your entire existence. There is no one else here. There is no keeper. The brilliant, beautiful, world-defining light that you were following was not coming from some external source. It was, and always has been, emanating from the very core of your own being. In that moment of profound revelation, your identity shatters and is reborn. You are not the ship. You were never the ship. You are, and always have been, the lighthouse. You are not the one who is drawn to the light. You are the source of the light. Your consciousness is the great lamp. Your aligned, heartfelt feelings are the fuel that allows it to burn with such brilliant intensity. This is the shift from attractor to creator. You are no longer pulling your good toward you from an imagined out there. You are radiating your reality from the center of your being, in here. The world, the circumstances, the people, the very ships upon the sea of life have no choice but to orient themselves around the light that you are. The lighthouse does not struggle to shine. It does not worry if the ships can see its light. It does not fret about the weather. It does not concern itself with the mechanics of navigation. Its sole, effortless, and joyful purpose is simply to be the light. Your creative work is no longer about the effortful strain of attracting. It is about the graceful, powerful, and effortless act of radiating. You stop asking, "Am I worthy of receiving this light?" And you realize that your inherent being is the light. This changes the very mechanics of manifestation. Attraction is like using one tuning fork to cause another. Distant tuning fork to begin vibrating through the principle of resonance. It works, but there is still a sense of separation, of distance, of one thing acting upon another. Creation, however, is realizing you are the tuning fork. In fact, you are the very field in which all tuning forks exist. You are not trying to make something else vibrate. You are simply deciding, from your core, to vibrate at a new frequency. And because you are the whole field, the entire ocean of consciousness, when you decide to resonate with the frequency of peace, the reality of peace is born directly from your own substance. There is no distance to be traversed. There is no time lag to be endured. The inner decision and the outer reality are two sides of the same event. This gives new and profound meaning to the power of your imagination. For the attractor, imagination is a tool for visualization, a screen upon which you watch a preview of a movie you hope will be produced and delivered to you one day. For the creator, your imagination is the production studio. It is the holodeck. It is the very workshop of God. The events, feelings, and conversations you construct and feel as real in your imagination are not previews. They are the actual creative act. The physical, three-dimensional world is simply the lagging sensory reflection of the blueprint you have already finalized within. The shadow world is catching up to the real work you have already completed in your own magnificent consciousness. What does it feel like to walk through the world with this knowledge? It is not the loud, chest-pounding arrogance of the ego. That is the cry of the insecure ship trying to prove its worth. The feeling of creatorhood is the quiet, profound, unshakable stillness of the lighthouse. It is an inner certainty that is so deep it requires no external validation. There is no more neediness, no more desperation, no more pleading with the universe. You know, with a calm that can feel foreign at first, that you are the source of your own supply. You walk through the world not as a beggar, hoping for a blessing, but as a sovereign, bestowing blessings, first and foremost upon yourself, by the conscious choice of your inner state. This ultimate power brings with it an ultimate responsibility. To know yourself as the creator is to take radical 100% ownership of everything in your reality. You can no longer indulge in the luxury of blame. You can no longer see yourself as a victim of anyone or anything out there, because you have pierced the veil and you understand, with chilling and liberating clarity, that there is no out there. This naturally leads to the ultimate and final question for the one who has awakened to their own creative power. If I am the creator, the lighthouse, the source of all that I experience, then what is everyone else? What are the difficult people, the challenging circumstances, the so-called random events that populate my reality? Are they separate lighthouses with their own conflicting beams of light? The final layer of the illusion of separation to dissolve is the belief that they are separate from you at all. The great mystics have whispered a truth so radical it can shatter the logical mind. The entire world, and everyone in it, is nothing more and nothing less than your own consciousness, pushed out into the world of form. Understanding this is the key to moving from being a creator of your personal reality to becoming a true master of your universe. You have claimed your power. You have accepted your new identity as the lighthouse, the creator of your reality, radiating the light of your consciousness to shape the world you experience. From this high peak of awareness, you are left with the ultimate question, the one that separates the advanced student from the true master. If I am the creator, the source of my experience, then what of the others? What is the lover who broke your heart, the boss who promotes you, the friend who betrays you, the stranger who shows you a kindness? Are they separate creators, living out their own dramas, who just happen to collide with your reality? Prepare yourself, for the final veil is about to be lifted. The answer to this question reveals a truth so radical, so challenging to the ego, and so utterly liberating that it may shatter the very foundations of the world you thought you knew. The truth is this: there are no others. The entire world, and every single person in it, is you, pushed out. Let that statement land. It is perhaps the most profound and difficult secret of the great mystics. It means that every person, every condition, every circumstance, and every event you encounter is the outer, physical manifestation of a particular state of consciousness, a collection of beliefs, assumptions, and feelings that exists within you. The people in your life are not independent actors, randomly bumping into you on the stage of life. They are messengers, they are embodiments. They are actors on your personal stage, faithfully and unconsciously, playing the precise roles that you have scripted for them through your own inner state of being. The world is a mirror, and you have only just begun to understand the depth of that reflection. It does not just reflect your general mood, it reflects the entirety of your consciousness, personified. To grasp this, consider the nature of a dream. When you dream at night, you are the sole author, producer, and director of the entire drama. In your dream, you may interact with a cast of dozens of characters. You might be chased by a fearsome monster, and you feel genuine terror. You might be embraced by a loving guide, and you feel genuine comfort. You might argue with a dream version of your father, or fall in love with a complete stranger. In the dream, they all feel separate. They all seem to have their own will. Yet, upon waking, you realize a staggering and undeniable truth. You were every single part of it. You were the dreamer, and you were also the one being dreamed. You were the hero, and you were the villain. The monster was simply your own unacknowledged fear, given a frightening form. The wise guide was your own higher wisdom, personified to give you a message. The argument with your father was a dramatization of your own inner conflict. Every character was you. The great mystic, Neville Goddard, taught that this waking life is governed by the exact same principle. This life is a waking dream. It is simply a dream that is far more vivid, more consistent, and bound by certain earthly rules that give it the convincing illusion of being a solid, external, objective reality. The people who populate your world are characters in your waking dream. They appear to have free will. They have their own lives and their own dreams, and this is true in their own reality, in their own dream. They are the star. But in the context of your dream, their behavior towards you is constrained and dictated by the beliefs you hold about yourself and about them. They are compelled to play the part that your consciousness has assigned to them. The boss who constantly criticizes and overlooks you is not, at his core, a critical person. He is playing the role of the critic on your stage because you are holding a deep, inner state of, "I am not good enough," or "my work is never valued." You are projecting your own inner self-doubt onto him, and he, as an actor in your play, is simply and unconsciously reading the lines you have handed him. The partner who is consistently unfaithful or emotionally distant is the outward expression of a set of beliefs you hold that might say, "I am not truly worthy of unconditional love," or "people always leave me in the end." You are broadcasting this expectation into the field, and they are conforming to it. Conversely, the friend who is always supportive, who always sees the best in you, is a perfect reflection of the part of your consciousness that knows your own worthiness and believes in the goodness of connection. The ego immediately and violently rebels against this idea. It screams, "What about their free will? Are you saying I am to blame for the terrible way they treated me?" This is a crucial distinction. This principle is not about blame. Blame is a low-frequency game of the ego that keeps you trapped in victimhood. This is about radical responsibility, which is the key to absolute freedom. Every person has free will within their own stream of consciousness. However, if your inner state requires a villain, if your script has a role for a betrayer, the universe will audition the billions of people on the planet, and someone whose own state of consciousness is a vibrational match for betrayal or villainy will unconsciously step forward and say, "I can play that part." They are not being controlled by you like a puppet. They are being cast in a role that resonates with their own energy for the purpose of your dream. This knowledge, when truly absorbed, dissolves blame completely. How can you be angry at the actor for flawlessly performing the part you wrote for them? The fire of your anger and resentment toward them can now be transmuted into a compassionate and curious light turned inward upon yourself. The question is no longer, why did they do that to me? The question becomes, what belief in me cast this person in this painful role? What scene from my past am I determined to reenact? What part of me believes that this is what I deserve? Instantly, the power is no longer out there with them. It has returned home to its only true source, you. This is the ultimate liberation. If you are the cause, you can change the effect. You no longer have to waste your precious life force trying to convince, persuade, argue with, or manipulate anyone in the outer world. The work is entirely, and only ever, internal. To change another person's behavior toward you, you change the state within yourself that dictates that behavior. You change the role you have assigned them. You do this in the workshop of God, your own wonderful human imagination. You practice the art of revision. In your mind, you revise the painful scene. You imagine that difficult person behaving in the loving, supportive, and respectful way you desire. You feel the absolute reality of that new interaction. You persist in this new assumption. As you change the script within, one of two things must happen in the outer world. The person will either conform to their new role often in ways that will astound you, suddenly changing their attitude toward you for no apparent reason, or if their own consciousness cannot hold the frequency of that new loving role, they will gently and peacefully drift out of your life, making way for someone else who can, and will, play the part you have now created. To realize that everyone is you pushed out is to take on the ultimate creative responsibility. It is to see yourself as the dreamer of your entire world. But this profound responsibility is not meant to be a heavy, eternal burden that you must carry. On the contrary, it is the final signpost, pointing you toward the ultimate freedom. For if you can be everyone, if every character is just a mask you are wearing, if every reality is just a state you are occupying, then who are you, really, underneath it all? The startling and liberating truth is that you are no one in particular. At your core, you are the formless, pristine awareness that precedes all masks, all roles, and all identities. You are pure potential, and to know this is to taste the exquisite freedom of being nothing and therefore having the power to be everything. You have walked the path of the Creator. You have taken on the staggering and profound responsibility for your entire universe, recognizing that every person, every circumstance, is a projection of your own consciousness. At first, this realization feels like an immense weight. The burden of being the cause, the center, the dreamer of it all, seems too much for one person to bear. But this feeling of weight comes from one final, subtle, and pervasive illusion. The belief that the you who is doing all this creating is the person you think you are, the one with a name, a history, a personality, and a story. This someone you have so carefully constructed is the final, heaviest mask. The ultimate freedom, the most sublime wealth, lies not in becoming a better or more powerful creator, but in the joyous and voluntary dissolving of the Creator altogether. It is the freedom of being nothing. From the moment you were born, you have been engaged in the project of becoming someone. You have worked tirelessly to build and curate this identity. You gathered labels, a name, a nationality, a profession. You gathered characteristics: I am smart, I am shy, I am spiritual, I am a survivor. You polished this identity, you defended it against criticism, you showed it off to the world, and you became its prisoner. For every definition you cling to, no matter how positive or noble, is a limitation. It is a cage, however beautifully gilded. To define yourself as strong means you close the door on the grace of your own vulnerability. To label yourself as wise means you are no longer free to be foolish and learn something new. To identify as a good person means you must constantly suppress and deny the parts of you that are angry or selfish. Every statement of "I am this" is also a statement of "I am not that." You have built a fortress of identity, and in so doing, you have walled yourself off from the infinite, undefinable totality of your own being. Imagine your consciousness is a room. For most of your life, you have been filling this room with furniture. The heavy, antique desk of your past traumas and history. The ornate display cabinet of your achievements and skills. The countless trinkets of your opinions, your beliefs, your judgments, and your memories. Eventually, the room becomes so full of this furniture of self that there is no space left to move. Nothing new can be brought in. A new idea cannot find a place to land. A moment of spontaneous joy has no room to dance. The room's infinite potential has been completely choked by the clutter of what is already there. This is the mind that is full of identity, full of the noise of me and mine. Now, imagine you begin the sacred work of emptying the room. You do it gently, without judgment. You carry the heavy furniture of your past to the door, thank it for the lessons it taught you, and let it go. You box up the trinkets of your accomplishments, recognizing that they are not who you are, but simply things you have done. You sweep away the dust of old opinions and inherited beliefs. At first, this process can feel frightening. It can feel like a loss of self, a kind of death. The ego screams in protest. If all my furniture is gone, then the room will be empty. I will be nothing. And the spirit within you whispers, precisely. As you continue, something miraculous happens. The room begins to feel lighter, more spacious. It begins to breathe. And finally, the moment comes when the room is empty. It is a state of pure, open, luminous space. And now, ask yourself, what is the potential of this empty room? The answer is staggering. Its potential is infinite. It can become a dance studio filled with ecstatic movement. It can become a meditation hall filled with profound silence. It can be a nursery for a new idea, a workshop for a creative masterpiece. It can contain any reality, any experience, any world, precisely because it is attached to nothing. This sacred emptiness, this luminous void, this state of nothingness is your true nature. You are not the furniture. You are the space that allows all furniture, all identities, all experiences to come and go. When your mind is empty of the desperate need to be someone, it becomes a flawless vessel for the divine. When you are not trying to be wise, true, unthought wisdom can flow through you. When you are not effortfully trying to be loving, pure, unconditional love can act through you. When you are not attached to being abundant, the infinite abundance of the universe can use you as its channel. You become a clear conduit for the intelligence and power of the cosmos, because your personal static, the incessant noise of me, has finally subsided. The great sages of the East have spoken of this for millennia. They called it the realization of no self, or anatman. This is not annihilation. It is not becoming a mindless zombie. It is the joyous and liberating discovery that the separate self you thought you were, the ego, the personality, the bundle of memories and anxieties, was a phantom, a temporary contraction in a limitless field of awareness, a fleeting wave that momentarily forgot it was the ocean. To lose this self is not a loss. It is the ultimate homecoming. What does this freedom feel like? It is a profound and unshakable peace that is not dependent on anything in the world being a certain way. Your peace is no longer held hostage by your circumstances. It is a quiet, causeless joy that bubbles up from nowhere, simply because being is, in itself, a joy. It is the freedom of being the silent watcher, the vast sky, and knowing that the clouds of thought, emotion, and identity are just weather patterns passing through your infinite expanse. You have relaxed back into being the ocean. You are no longer frantically trying to hold the shape of one particular wave. And here we arrive at the ultimate and most beautiful paradox of creation. It is from this state of being nothing that you become the most powerful and effortless creator. Why? Because you are no longer creating from the limited, fear-based agenda of a separate ego. The ego creates to prove itself, to protect itself, to aggrandize itself, to fill its own perceived holes. Its creations are always tinged with neediness and effort. But when the ego self dissolves into the background, creation no longer comes from you. It happens through you. Action is still taken. Life is still lived with passion and engagement. But the source of the action has fundamentally changed. Action no longer arises from the anxious, planning mind, from a to-do list of things that must be accomplished to shore up your fragile identity. Instead, action arises spontaneously, joyfully, and powerfully from the stillness of your empty, spacious being. It is a pure impulse from the universe itself, moving through the clear, unobstructed channel that you have become. It is the universe dancing with itself, and you are the dance. This is not the effortful, grinding action of the ego. This is the graceful, potent, and playful flow of inspired action. You have arrived at the sacred center of your being. You have stepped out of the prison of identity and into the luminous, infinite freedom of being nothing, the pure potential from which all things are born. And from this deep stillness, from this creative void, life calls you to move, to dance, to express, to create. But how? What is the nature of action when it no longer comes from a someone who is trying to get somewhere? From your earliest days, you were indoctrinated into the cult of effort. It is the dominant religion of the modern world. You were taught that your value is measured by your struggle, that success is a battle to be won through brute force and relentless toil, that your worth is directly proportional to your level of exhaustion. No pain, no gain. Rise and grind, hustle harder. These are the mantras of a consciousness rooted in the illusion of separation and the frequency of lack. They are the anthems of a person who believes they are a small, powerless fragment that must fight and claw for its share from a stingy and indifferent universe. This gives rise to what we will call effortful action. Effortful action is born from the anxious, planning mind. It is the ego's frantic attempt to bridge the perceived gap between the undesirable here and a more desirable there. It is fueled entirely by fear. The fear of not having enough, the fear of not being enough, the fear that if you stop moving, you will be forgotten or left behind. It is the action of the person trying desperately to row their boat upstream against the powerful current of life. You know the feeling of effortful action intimately. It feels heavy. It feels like a should, a must, or a have to. It is the action that is preceded by resistance, procrastination, and a subtle sense of dread. When you are engaged in effortful action, you are often watching the clock, waiting for it to be over, so you can finally rest. It drains your life force. It is the energy of the grind, and it invariably leads to the state of burnout. A state where the soul has simply run out of fuel to power an engine of resistance. Can effortful action produce results in the world? Sometimes, yes. But these results are hard-won. They are tinged with the metallic taste of sacrifice, and they rarely, if ever, deliver the deep, soul-level fulfillment you were truly seeking. You finally get the promotion, only to feel a hollow emptiness. You finally buy the house, only to feel the same anxiety you felt before. This is because the entire journey was powered by the frequency of not enough. So even upon arrival, not enough is the state you continue to experience. Now, from the stillness of your true nature, you are invited to learn a new way, the way of inspired action. Inspired action does not come from the fearful, calculating mind. It arises from the silent, intelligent, and joyful core of your being. It is the universe itself, seeking to move and create through you. It is not fueled by fear, but by a sense of lightness, curiosity, and joyful impulse. It is the action of the wise sailor who has learned to partner with the wind. Let us explore this. Imagine you are in a beautiful sailboat in the middle of a vast, calm lake. The air is still. There is no wind. The person operating from the cult of effort, the person who believes they are separate and must force their way through life, becomes impatient and fearful. We must get to the other shore. The ego screams, "We cannot just sit here doing nothing, this is a waste of time." And so they grab the heavy oars and they begin to row with all their might. This is effortful action. It is back-breaking, sweat-inducing, grueling work. Their progress is painfully slow, their muscles ache. Their mind is completely consumed with the strain of the next stroke, the next battle against the resistance of the water. They curse the stillness of the air, seeing it as an obstacle to their goal. This is a life powered by your own limited personal muscular force. It is a life of struggle. Now, imagine a different approach. The one who has awakened to their true nature, the wise sailor, does not see the stillness as a problem. He knows that he cannot force the boat to move with grace. He trusts the elements. He knows his true power lies not in frantic rowing, but in readiness and alignment. He does not fight the stillness. He embraces it. He uses this quiet, waiting time to tend to his vessel. He checks the rigging. He clears the decks. He studies the subtle patterns on the water's surface. He enjoys the warmth of the sun on his face and the profound peace of the lake. He is not idle. He is in a state of relaxed, present moment awareness. He is preparing himself for the miracle he knows is coming. And then he feels it. Not a great gale, but a subtle shift. A new coolness on his cheek. A gentle rustle in the leaves on the shore. The wind is beginning to stir. This is the arrival of inspiration. It is the first whisper from the universe. The frantic rower, deafened by the sound of his own grunting and the splashing of his oars, would miss this sign completely. But the sailor, dwelling in presence, recognizes it instantly. At this precise and perfect moment, the sailor takes action. But it is not a strenuous, effortful action. He does not create the wind. He simply, gracefully partners with it. He calmly and skillfully unfurls his great white sails. This act is easy. It feels light. It feels profoundly right. There is no resistance in it. It is the inspired act. The unseen power of the wind fills the sails, and the boat begins to move. It glides across the water with a speed, an elegance, and a power that the desperate rower could never dream of achieving. The sailor is not straining. He is not exhausted. He is alert, alive, making small, intuitive adjustments to the rudder, but he is at ease. He is in a state of flow. He is dancing with the universe. His journey to the other shore is not a struggle. It is a thing of beauty. This is the new way of living that is now available to you. Your job is not to row. Your job is to let go of the oars of effort and fear. Your job is to become still, to cultivate your presence, and to tend to the state of your own vessel, your mind, your body, and your spirit. And then you must wait and listen, not with anxious impatience, but with joyful, confident trust for the first stirrings of the divine wind of inspiration. How do you recognize this wind? An idea born of the ego feels heavy, complicated, and is usually attached to a logical, step-by-step plan for how to avoid pain or gain approval. It often begins with the burdensome words, "I should," or "I have to." An inspired idea, however, often arrives suddenly, like a gift, in a moment of quiet relaxation in the shower, on a walk in nature, just upon waking. It feels light, it feels simple, it feels exciting, and sometimes delightfully illogical. It brings with it a surge of joyful, positive energy. It doesn't feel like a burdensome obligation, it feels like a joyful impulse. Inspired action often begins with a small, simple, and easy first step. The universe does not usually hand you the entire, detailed blueprint for your masterpiece. It gives you the first breadcrumb. The inspired thought is rarely, "Go and build a global empire." The inspired thought is, "Call that person you haven't spoken to in years. Go to that bookstore. Read that obscure article. Drive down that street you've never been down before." The logical mind, The rower will dismiss these urges as insignificant and irrelevant. How will calling my old friend solve my immense financial problem? It will scoff. The ego cannot see the whole map. It cannot see that your old friend will mention a book which will lead you to a seminar where you will meet your future business partner. Your job is simply to trust the joyful nudge and take the first easy step. When you do, the next breadcrumb will be revealed, and then the next. When you begin to live this way, your entire relationship with action is transformed. Action is no longer a desperate tool you use to get something, to get money, to get love, to get security, to finally arrive at a future state of happiness. Action becomes the joyful expression of the state of wholeness you are already living in. You do not write a book to become a successful author. You write because the creative energy of the story is flowing through you so powerfully that writing is the most joyful and natural thing to do. You do not start the business to get rich. You start the business because the idea itself is so exciting, so full of life, that you cannot not do it. Your action is no longer a means to an end. Your action is the end. It is the goal itself. And this reveals the ultimate secret of the sailboat. The wise sailor does not undertake the journey to find happiness on a distant shore. His happiness is found in the journey itself, in the exquisite feeling of alignment, in the perfect dance of vessel, wind, and water, when your actions are no longer a desperate struggle to attain abundance, but are instead the joyful and effortless expression of the wholeness you feel within. You make a final, breathtaking discovery. You realize you were never sailing toward abundance at all. You realize that your very being, your capacity to live in this state of joyful, inspired flow, is the abundance you were seeking all along. The journey and the destination have finally and beautifully become one. You have sailed the seas of inspired action, your sails filled with the winds of the universe. You have learned to dance with life, not as a struggle against it, but as a graceful partnership with it. You have discovered that the joy is not in reaching some distant shore, but in the exquisite feeling of the sailing itself. And here, in this state of joyful, effortless flow, a final, magnificent truth dawns upon your awareness. It is a truth that recontextualizes your entire journey, illuminating every step you have taken with a gentle and loving golden light. It is the realization that this entire pilgrimage, the seeking, the learning, the overcoming, the becoming, was never about getting somewhere you were not. It was always, only, about returning to the place you never left. The journey was never about attaining abundance. It was about awakening to the abundance you already are. This is the great cosmic secret. The journey was not a process of addition, but a process of subtraction. It was not a pilgrimage to a distant, holy land where you would finally be granted the gifts you sought. It was a journey of forgetting your amnesia. Each lesson, each practice, each realization was not about adding a new, shiny quality to your being. It was about lovingly and patiently removing another layer of false belief that was obscuring the radiant perfection of your true nature. You were not building a new house. You were simply washing the mud from the windows of a mansion that has always been yours. Imagine that at the moment of your conception, you were a perfect, flawless block of Carrara marble. And within this pristine block, there already existed a magnificent sculpture, a breathtaking masterpiece of divine form. This sculpture is your true self, your soul's blueprint and image of perfect love, boundless creativity, infinite intelligence, and unshakable wholeness. It is already complete. It is already perfect. It lacks nothing. But shortly after your arrival into this world, the block of marble was handed over to well-meaning but unskilled hands. Society, your parents, your teachers, they began to work on you. But instead of seeing the masterpiece within and gently chipping away the excess stone to reveal it, they began to add layers to it. They were afraid of the marble's raw perfection. They began to slather you with the thick, heavy clay of limiting beliefs. You are not good enough as you are. You must become something more. They wrapped you in the coarse, scratchy burlap of fear and doubt. The world is a dangerous place. Be careful. Don't take risks. They painted you with the dull gray colors of conformity and shame. Don't be too loud. Don't shine too brightly. Fit in. Over the years, this thick, ugly, and heavy crust was built up, layer upon layer, completely encasing the magnificent sculpture within. And so you spent your life identified with the crust. You believed you were the gray paint of your personality. You believed you were the heavy clay of your limitations. You believed you were the scratchy burlap of your fears. You walked through the world feeling misshapen, heavy, and unworthy, all the while completely unaware of the breathtaking masterpiece that lay dormant and suffocating just beneath the surface of your awareness. The pain you felt was the pain of the masterpiece, crying out from within its prison of false identity. This entire journey we have taken together has been the sacred work of you, the true self, finally picking up the sculptor's chisel and hammer. When you first looked in the mirror of your reality, you were acknowledging the existence of the crust. When you learned to find the silence, you were quieting the noisy workshop of the world so you could finally hear the faint whispers from the stone within. When you turned to embrace your shadow, you were lovingly accepting the dark, messy, and earthy nature of the clay, realizing it too was part of the story. When you learned to live in the end, you were holding the vision of the finished masterpiece in your heart as you bravely began to chip away at all that was not it. And now, the work is done. With the final, gentle tap of the chisel, the last piece of the hardened crust has fallen away, and you stand, unveiled, in the light of your own being. And what do you find? You do not find an empty void that you now need to fill with love and abundance from the outside. You do not find a flawed and needy creature that must now learn to be worthy. You find the masterpiece. You find that you are the abundance. You are the wholeness. You are the love. You are the light you were seeking. It was here all along. You have not created anything new. You have simply and miraculously revealed what was eternally and unchangeably true. What does it mean to live from this realization? It means the great, exhausting, cosmic search is finally over. You stop looking for a partner to complete you because you have unveiled the infinite wellspring of love that you are. You stop frantically chasing money and security because you have touched the profound truth that your own consciousness is the source and substance of all supply. You stop seeking approval and validation from the world because the masterpiece needs no opinion from those who are still identified with their own crust. Its worth is self-evident and inherent. Your relationship with desire is reborn. Desire is no longer the hungry ache of an incomplete being trying to patch up its holes. Desire becomes the joyful, expansive impulse of the masterpiece to express itself. You desire to create art, not to prove that you are creative, but because you are creativity itself, overflowing into form. You desire to form deep, authentic connections, not to cure your loneliness, but because you are love, seeking to share its own richness. You desire to build a business, not to prove your worth, but because the intelligent, creative energy flowing through you finds joy in organization and service. This is the end of the frantic energy of becoming, and the beginning of the deep, calm, radiant energy of being. There is nothing to prove. There is nothing to defend. There is nothing to attain. You have arrived, and you have discovered that arrival is simply the full conscious recognition of where you have always been. You are not a wave, struggling to become the ocean. You are the ocean, expressing itself for a moment as a wave. You are not a branch, striving to become the tree. You are the tree, in your entirety. You are not a rough block of stone, hoping to one day be sculpted into a masterpiece. You are the masterpiece, perfect, whole, and complete, right now. All that was required was to chip away everything that you were not. And so, the work is done. The journey of becoming has reached its beautiful and inevitable conclusion. The journey of simply being now unfolds with every breath. You can put down the chisel and hammer. You can cease the striving. You can end the search. You simply stand, here, now, in the radiant light of your own unveiled being, and you breathe. You simply are. And so, you are. Here, now, the great cosmic search is over. The frantic noise of becoming has subsided. The dust of a lifetime of struggle has settled. You have walked the long road home, only to find that home was the very ground beneath your feet at every step. For so long, you were a radio receiver, your hands anxiously turning the dial, desperately trying to find a clear station amidst an ocean of static. You searched the airwaves for the frequency of peace, for the broadcast of love, for the signal of abundance, believing them to be distant transmissions from a source outside of yourself. You strained to listen. You tried to amplify the signal. You lamented the noise that drowned it out. Now you know the truth. You are not the receiver. You were never the receiver. You are the tower. And the beautiful, clear, and powerful music you were searching for is the resonant song of your own silence. There is nothing more to learn, nothing more to do, nothing more to attain. There is only this to remember, to feel, to be. Let this be the gentle rhythm that your heart beats to, the simple truth that dissolves all other complex concepts. Breathe it in. Feel it in the space between your thoughts. I am the frequency. The frequency is me. I am the wealth. The wealth is me. I am the love. The love is me. I am the peace. The peace is me. Do not think these words. Do not turn them into another mental exercise. Simply let them be a vibration that settles in the core of your being. Feel their truth in the aliveness of your hands, in the steady beat of your heart, in the very atoms that dance to form the vessel of your body. And now, let even this go. Let the words dissolve. Let the concepts fade. There is no need to hold on to anything you have learned. The true lesson is not in the words, but in the state they have guided you to. Come back home, to the silent, aware, and loving space that you are. Feel the gentle weight of your body. Hear the subtle, ambient sounds in the room around you, and allow them to be just as they are. And feel the slow, easy, and miraculous rhythm of your own breath, rising and falling without any effort from you. This breath is a gift. This breath is the only abundance you will ever need. This breath is the universe, living and breathing as you. It has always been here. It is flowing through you, as you. Rest in this. Rest in the infinite wealth of your own being. It is you. It has always been you.